What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Terror Table for episode 109. We are that horror podcast that talks about horror movies, horror genre stuff, horror books, horror beer.
Horror waifu pillows.
Wow.
Horror...
What's that?
Oh, don't act like you don't know.
Anyways, we're going to talk about horror stuff today.
Okay.
Probably.
That was the joke.
Yes. But, all right, so I'm one of your regular hosts that you hear every single week. My name is Mitch, and alongside me, as always, is my boy...
Buzi.
Why do you always say, Buzi?
I don't know. I always feel like I have to... I had to rev my engine up to be who I am.
Yeah, Buzi. All right, yeah, anyways. Diego's not here this week. He'll be back next week. And to announce that right now, Diego will be back, and we will be doing a full episode on Us, Jordan Peele's Us, which comes out this weekend. So look forward to that. I know we are. We have a special guest this time around. I got some other stuff I'm going to get out of the way, but first I'm going to introduce and re-welcome returning guest, KYLE ZUREVINSKI.
Oh my God, guys. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you.
Kyle was on our episode for Videodrome, which, you didn't even choose that movie. I was just like, yo, are you free? Because we're going to do an episode on Videodrome. And
it feels like a lifetime ago.
I know.
That
it was. It was like, it had to have been close to a year ago.
Yeah, it had to be, for sure. But yeah, that was the first time I ever saw that movie, but I'm happy to do that episode. It was worth it.
It was awesome. Yeah, and so Diego is here for that. So this is your first time with Buzi, but you guys have kind of met each other. We'll get to that.
We did.
Yeah, I would say we're kindred spirits.
Okay, perfect. But yeah, so today we're going to be talking about Kyle's pick, which is Perfect Blue, which was directed by Satoshi Kon.
Yeah, I think it's...
Yeah, 1996.
I mean, we'll get it out of the way now. We're
97.
going to butcher some names here.
97.
Oh, 97. Sorry. Why am I always 1 year off?
I know. You're always 1 year off, and I feel like I have to turn to that guy who's like, up one.
I know, it's always sevens.
Well, in your defense, it premiered in 1997, so it's one of those weird ones.
Right.
Where
so on a technicality, we're both right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Well, if you're going by the Deutsch distribution
the
of the film.
nomenclature of the date.
In episode 64 of Itchy and Scratchy.
Oh my God, that's sad. But it premiered at Fantasia Festival in Montreal.
Fuck yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
That's baller.
I looked it up
Whoa. Facts are for later, not now. What are you doing? You don't blow
shit,
your load already.
Yeah, fuck.
Let's shut the fuck up. Okay, I'm going to get other stuff out of the way, then we'll carry on. By the way, we're happy to have Kyle back again. We have a fucking table full of beer, and this doesn't happen. I always manage to get wrecked every episode, but this one's looking particularly
No, you didn't
promising.
last episode.
No, I didn't.
But I will say the one before. You definitely
You can tell.
I listened to the end of that episode. I'm like, this is the goal.
So do you hear that deterioration point?
Well, guys, it's really just comes down to the fact that Rawhead wrecked.
Really? Cause the worst for that was our Idle Hands episode, where I was like, I just don't remember recording about an hour.
I gotta go back and check that out.
Oh man, I don't
And
remember.
I wasn't there for that
That
one.
sounds up my alley.
I don't remember a good hour of that episode.
I like chaos,
Yeah.
I like chaos.
Well, my life is chaos, and everyone. You guys are all the.
You gotta strap in.
You're the
Feel
audience.
the G's.
This is going to be a fun episode, though. But to get shit out of the way, I'm going to talk about. We also will be doing another book club episode, which will air at the beginning of April. And we had said this before. I still haven't posted on Instagram or Facebook. So I'm just going to re-announce right now that our book club picks. So I chose the book Black Hole by Charles Burns, as well as The Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker. Buzi chose Thor by Wayne Smith, which is the book that Bad Moon is based off of. Tara, my sister, mi siste. I'm so
Is
bad.
there a joke here?
I'm so
Is there
bad.
a joke here?
Why can't I do a single accent?
Okay, what were you going for, though? Was it like a Borat? Was it like a Borat thing?
I was going to do the Michael Scott thing. Si, senor.
Well,
Okay.
I don't know.
I thought it was more of a Borat thing.
Me too. I was like, what's going on here?
My wife. All right. But Tara is going to be reading Cannibalism, A Perfectly Natural History by Bill Shute.
Shit, that sounds pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And
Tune in.
Courtney is reading A Serial Killer's Daughter by Carrie Rawson, the story of the girl whose daddy is the BTK killer.
Yeah, and I also own that book, so I'm questioning whether I should just try and power through it so I can know where she is.
Yo, just a heads up. We do the episodes, the movie episodes where we talk about what movies we've been seeing, but we're like, there's no way we're gonna have a whole bunch of books to talk about. I'm on my 4th book right now.
I know, you're crushing it.
I'm an obsessive person.
You go through obsessive phases of what you want to do for
I
a certain amount of time.
I played 9 video games since December 20th.
Where do you find the time to do these things?
It's
Evening?
depression.
Yeah, depression. You get like 6 hours of sleep, maybe, and the rest of the time is game time.
Oh my god, I haven't played a game in like 30 years.
And Kyle's 24.
Yeah,
everyone's actually like, wait, how old is this fucking?
Check the nomenclature. Do the math.
Okay, well, yeah. So we'll be talking about that stuff. I also want to give a shout out to our boy Buzi, who's on an episode of So Be It, our brother podcast, Jeff and Johnny. Buzi was on their episode that aired. It came out yesterday. Was it yesterday?
It was recorded and put out yesterday.
Yeah. Okay. So I listened to all of that, and it's a great episode.
I'm surprised I haven't even finished it yet.
Yeah, well, I listen to my homies, so that's how it works. And speaking of my homies, the latest Erie International episode is featuring an interview with Christian Stella, who's a cinematographer, sound editor, and producer on movies like The Battery and Tex Montana Will Survive. Kyle, have you seen The Battery?
I was going to say, I have seen The Battery.
It seems like a Kyle movie.
Yeah, that movie's great. I have like a screener copy of that for some reason. I don't know how the hell I got that.
Fuck yeah.
Hold on to that.
Have you seen The Battery?
I haven't.
It's great. It's very...
Give me your screener.
I will. I found it the other day, which is weird. I think
like on the ground or just at your house somewhere?
I think I got it from a friend because it played here for the Dark Bridges Film Festival.
Yeah.
I like the Dark Bridges, but I like Saskatoon Fantastic.
Yeah,
I like John. I
didn't know if I could say like rest in peace for that.
But I
still going.
think they're essentially the same thing.
Rest in rebranding?
I think it's John has talked about that on here too. He's just like he wanted to make it seem like they aren't just horror movies.
Sure.
He's got to fluff it up.
But
I
there's
kind
still
of assumed that, honestly, from the rebranding. But anyways, I saw it when it was in town. This is probably like 6
It's a long time
years ago now. But yeah, good movie.
Great movie, and it always made me wonder how one would jack off in a zombie apocalypse. That's in the movie.
Right. One of those things I don't remember from the film.
Oh, I was going to say, like, if I had to do it, probably on a roof or something.
He's in the back of a car, and there's a zombie girl, and her, like, she's got zombie boobs.
Oh.
It's really awkward.
Really delving into the unsolved questions.
He jacks off to a zombie.
See, this is the one market that Walking Dead didn't tap into. Yeah, like I said, I was like, no one ever poops on Walking Dead. I want to see somebody shit.
I'm not one to king shame.
No one poops on Walking Dead?
No.
Not even once?
There's no scene where it's like, hold on, guys, I have really bad diarrhea, and then they leave for like...
Which is crazy, because so much of that show is just filler. You could have just one episode of Rick taking a mean shit.
Yeah. See, I don't understand that. For those shows that go on for like a million years, why don't you just like make it goofy by the end of it? Like, have some fun with it.
If you want it to be real and make it feel real, somebody's got to poop.
Or just troll people and actually have an episode that is all around someone shitting. Can you imagine how entertaining that would be if, like, you think about? I think you posted about this on Twitter today, but the lawyer in Jurassic Park, like that scene, like that's such an iconic scene. Imagine a full episode of Walking Dead of like, fucking, let's go with the badass Daryl.
So they're like in a big gunfight, and like he's like, I gotta go. And
he's just stuck in a porta potty or something, and he like has
zombies around him.
He has dysentery or something. Like,
whoa. See, when I think of The Walking Dead, I always just think of watching people do the like reaction videos to like death scenes, where all I do is, no. Oh, so I always wanted to like just record myself doing that, but like not even watching the show, but then it's like dub it overseas, and it'd probably like fit pretty well.
You could just be
someone putting like something on a hot dog. No,
good God. Oh my 6 God. Seasons for this? No.
Okay, and so that's everything that I have to announce. So before we get on to what we're going to talk about, what we've been seeing and what we've been doing, then we'll get on to our Buzi's Newsies segment, where Buzi will tell us about the headlines he read this week, and then
one of my favorite
vague booking I've done,
and then we'll try and figure out what those headlines mean through hearsay and spread some rumors. Let's spread some motherfucking rumors today.
See, we technically break news, but it's because it's filtered through not only my half-assedness, but everyone interpreting my half-assedness.
It's like,
wow. Yeah, I read the other day.
It's like telephone.
Yeah, like Michael Jackson made a new documentary. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I've been debating talking about that on here, and I think I'm just going to leave it off of here. But I did see it. Did you see it too?
Yeah. Well, I watched the first half.
Am I the only one who hasn't watched a second?
No, a lot of people haven't, and I don't blame them for not watching.
I already know he did shit. I don't need to see like 4 hours of it.
I just think it's impressive that he made a documentary after the grave. Like, how does he? Yeah. How does that work? You know?
God. Yeah, the man had many talents. That's for sure. But I'm not.
No comment.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to leave that off the terror table. But that dude, 100% fuck kids.
Is that the first time you've ever said that? That's such a clever like pun, and I don't think we've ever said it.
Can I leave it off the terror table? Like, take it off the table.
Take it off the table. We've never said that.
We're finding our footing, man. We're just at the beginning of this little putt thing. All right, Kyle, what have you been up to?
Who are you?
Oh my god.
What do you do?
Oh
So
my god.
let's hear for a second. So you talked previously on the last episode that like you're not necessarily a horror fan, but you do enjoy a lot of horror movies.
Yeah, that's true, for sure. Yeah, I'm not like... I mean, I'm not nearly on the level of you guys. There's just no way to dispute that. But I do watch, like, just a fuck ton of movies in general. I try to watch a movie at least once a week at the very least.
What I've gathered from your taste is that there's a lot of stuff that you like that is borderline horror. Like,
I think you're right.
You like twisted stuff.
That's true. I mean, I do like things with a little bit of an edge, and maybe I don't even realize they're horror, but they are. I think there's also maybe things in the genre that I don't really consider horror. Yeah. But they are. And I'm happy you asked me this because I wrote down some movies.
Okay, let's talk about that. But first, before you get onto that,
he's already flipped the page.
So, Kyle, you own a film production company?
That's the boring stuff.
No, let's just quickly.
What page is that on?
Let's get this
page, actually. Same page, baby.
Let's get this shit out of the way. Let's get the snoozy, boring stuff. Like you're successful and you do cool things.
You're handsome.
Okay, yeah. I am one of the co-owners of Dynamic Video Imaging Corporation. It's supposed to sound...
I think that you blocked... No one can see that, but he blocked it with his hands.
He blocked it with his hands. And his brows went down.
This guy's always on.
It's like, so it kind of sounds like a VHS scam from the 80s. You know? Like, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. So we've been making some web series and feature films over the past, I guess, 2 years now. We put out our first web series in last May, called Four in a Blanket. It's a sitcom.
The pigs one.
Yeah, a sitcom of a family of pigs. It's live action, but everyone has pig prosthetic faces. So
how much did that surgery hurt for them?
Honestly, we were trying to get tails, but no one wanted to spring for that. So
they're like, I draw the line at nose and belly.
Man, only one guy really had the belly.
And 12 nipples.
See, this is for good stuff for second season.
Right.
These are good things to mention for the next season. I like where you're going.
I'm here for punch up.
This is the new, this is the writer's table.
Yeah, so that I mentioned that because that's like the one thing you could probably go check out now. It's on YouTube. Just look up Four in a Blanket. There's 4 episodes.
Hell yeah. And you got the guy from The Room.
Yeah, we got Greg Sester out to voice a role in the film or the series, which is pretty sick.
Hell yeah.
And the theme song is also done by Saskatoon, I would say, Angel.
Danny Elfman?
Teresa Sakirka.
Really?
Yes.
I grew up down the street from Teresa Sakirka.
My mom worked with her mom.
So she's doing good? She's doing good?
She's doing great. Yeah. I actually worked with her for a while last year, and then I was like, hey, would you like do this thing? And she was like, oh, sure. She thought it was for like an animated show of pigs.
So was she...
Where's the cartoonist?
Yeah, I haven't really talked to her since, to be honest.
Let's quickly touch base on that. So she's the runner-up from Canadian Idol?
Yeah, she got second place.
Next to Jacob Hogard. Wasn't it that year?
No.
That rapist?
No, Jacob Hogard... I talked to her about this, so I know the deets. Jacob Hogard got third place.
Oh,
and,
right.
Kalen Porter.
Right.
The guy with the violin.
And he had the spaghetti hair.
Yeah. He had the ramen hair.
Yeah.
But we're talking about Perfect Blue, so it's ramen.
Okay,
right?
Ramen, yes. All right.
Right, guys?
Yes.
Buzi gets it. Yeah, he had ramen hair. Just like Chad Kroger had ramen hair.
Yeah, exactly. And,
yeah, so that's the show I made, I guess.
Sweet.
I'm actually pretty proud of it. Yeah, we got like a Creative Sask my web series budget to make it, or a grant to make it. So
how'd you get into getting that grant? If you could,
I mean, literally anyone can apply for that. You just have to like pitch an idea, have a resume of like maybe some like smaller stuff you worked on, or even if you don't have a resume, you can just literally pitch an idea and they'll fund a project. 50% of it, then you fund the rest.
Cool.
That's how it works.
So do you just like, is that kind of a thing where you pay for it all up front and then you hand them a bill and they say, okay, we'll take 50% off of that?
Kind of. It kind of works the other way. It's more like you tell them you're going to pay X amount and then they'll say, okay, we'll match that.
Oh,
basically.
Okay.
And so then they give you like, I think like 70% of it right up front and then 30% at the end of it.
Sure.
So anyway, whatever. That was cool. It was a great time. We had an awesome cast.
I'm sorry to interrupt your really awesome story right now, but like this is legit good beer.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's good. Everyone cheers quickly.
Let's cheers.
Oh, well,
let's cheers.
So
out of nowhere.
Woo.
Asahi beer.
Yeah.
Super dry. Oh, sorry, I totally cut you off. I'm really proud of my show. Oh, fuck you. This beer is great.
Yeah, you had like a eureka moment there.
I know. I'm
it's
happy
good.
you enjoy it because I've had this before and I really like it.
It's good.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't know. It's a good show. Peep game.
So where can you get it from?
You can just put it on YouTube. We just put it on YouTube.
Four in a blanket.
It's not on like that premium shit. Like I don't have to pay $4.99 for this.
Nah, man, I'm not trying to do it like that. Like just watch the show.
I'm not trying to go out like that.
No one cares. Like just check it out if you want to check it out.
We'll share it on our Terror Table Facebook page.
I would appreciate that. Yeah. And then we've actually, since we last talked, we made another feature film called Begonia, which I'm super proud of, actually. It's like the best thing we've made.
Yeah.
And we're just pitching that to festivals right now, like submitting it.
What's the runtime on that?
It's not even 90 minutes. It's like around 80 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. So what's like the synopsis of that?
Give us some deets.
Well, it's hard to say because like I don't want to spoil it, you know? Like it's a fairly simple story. More or less, is two women are stuck in a room for a competition, but they don't really know what the competition is. And so it's two women in a room, and then one day a door appears, and behind the door they can hear another group of women talking. So they start to realize that like there's sort of a different dynamic between the two rooms. Again, it's like just basically these two women like focus in the room talking, and then like it kind of delves into like them like having a lot of conflict with one another, and I don't really want to give too much more than that.
But it's got a little tension in it?
Oh yeah, there's tension, baby.
Okay. I like tension.
Yeah, and it's actually like amazing. I'm really, really happy with it. And we kind of just
So did you direct that, or what did you do?
I produced it, so like I put the film together.
Okay, so you can say it's amazing.
I can say it's amazing.
Yeah.
But I would also tell you that...
But if you were to be like, I directed this movie, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
you would sound like kind of a dickhead.
I think so, right? That's how I like to feel. But I would also say that, like, stuff we've made is, like, worse than it, you know? So I'm really happy with it.
That's cool.
And that'll hopefully be coming out sometime in the fall. And we're just working on, like, how we're going to, like, distribute that digitally. And we'll do, like, some local screenings. And
fuck yeah. We'll be there.
Province-wide screenings.
See, I was like, the whole time when you were saying the pitch, I was waiting for the part where it turned into a buddy cop comedy.
Man, I'm not trying to give another buddy cop. There's like a million of those. Like,
I feel like you got the chops for it.
Maybe I like to be in a buddy cop.
Begonia 2, Cruise Control.
Begonia 2, this time it's personal.
I'm going to write it down. But anyway, now we're actually gearing up to film our third feature in May here, actually. So
sweet. And you do this all locally?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And it's all like, because you have kind of like a studio setup, don't you?
Yeah, we have our own little studio space in Saskatoon here, and we just kind of operate through there. We just like have all of our shit in there, just a bunch of shit down there. Like,
that's awesome.
If you need like two kind of handsome, I'm not going to go over the top, like kind of handsome guys who are circumcised, there's two of us in the room right now.
We will go full frontal.
Yeah.
Okay.
No questions asked.
There's
no blankets with these pigs.
I think I might save that for the buddy cop comedy. Blanketless Joes.
Yeah, I would love it. All right. Okay. Sweet. Well, we'll get to writing that.
Yeah. But no, Begonia, that's the good shit. You guys should, stay tuned for that.
Yeah. Awesome. Looking forward to it, man.
Yeah.
All right. Other than that, do you want to get on to some horror stuff?
Yeah. Let's see these notes.
I wrote a list. See, my first check, it says horror, and then underneath it is several films that I decided were underneath horror. And I'm pretty sure one of these already is in horror, but that's okay. It Comes at Night. I saw that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a little bit old. It's like, 2 years old, maybe?
Last
17.
Yeah.
Love that. Again, the years. Who knows? Good movie. Loved it. I don't know.
That was Buzi's number one.
2017. That was my number one, man.
Like, that was a movie that I definitely didn't think it was anything like it until I watched it, if that makes any sense. Like, I saw a couple, like, people reviewing it, like, photos of it, whatever. People praising it mostly. But I thought it was something very different.
I think that's what it sold itself to be, something completely different.
Yeah, but in a way, I was actually happy with that because I kind of put it off for a while because I just thought it looked like, I don't know. Like,
you let the hype die out, too.
Yeah, that too. But I'm happy to report back, guys, because I feel you probably already talked about it on this show. Clearly, you have.
It's fine.
Good movie. It Comes at Night. Then this one is not. It's more of a thriller. I'm sorry, but have you guys seen Searching?
Yeah.
Yes.
That movie is sick. I love Searching.
Did you go see it in theaters or you watched it at home?
I saw it in theaters.
Yeah, man. It was such a good theater experience.
I was like, again, that's another movie where I was like, I don't know if this is going to be any good. Like, like,
who cares about missing kids?
Well, it's like happens every day. It's whatever.
You can't make movies with all of them.
We've all been there once or twice.
We've all been on a milk can.
Somebody picks you up in the van, whatever. Yeah, so Searching, that's probably not a horror movie. Bear with me.
I still get, no, we talk about that kind of shit.
Okay, that's fine.
You're
cool.
right. You're right in our lane.
This one here, I wrote while I was having a couple drinks. I put Venom down as a horror film because that one was horrifying.
Yeah, what'd you think of Venom?
I wanted to like Venom, but it was not good.
It was fucking terrible.
I tried, I went in kind of expecting it not to be a good movie, but I was like, I'm just gonna have a fun experience. I'm trying to have fun watching Venom. And all I remember is that dumbass Eminem song, Venom.
Oh, the Venom.
That's all I remember. I don't even know what's happening.
Oh man, it's so boring. That song elevated it to a whole new level of shit.
They cranked it to 10 right when the credits rolled too. They're like, we paid him for this. We're
and
getting it.
And I'm like an Eminem apologist at some points. Like I'm not going to defend anything he's done in the last 10 years, but that song, holy fuck.
I'm glad you say that because I've gone into very heated arguments about Eminem.
No. Yeah, it's
tough. And I'm like, you got to think about it. Like the guy is not quality over quantity anymore. Like you have to just realize this.
I think at one point he was one of the greatest alive, but he's just not anymore.
You can't
you can't defend like anything.
Erase 4 albums or like 5 albums or whatever it is now. Anyhow, okay, I also saw Mandy, which I loved Mandy.
Okay, I loved Mandy too.
That was amazing. Was that any of your guys' list?
That was on my my number 4.
So, man,
I love that movie.
I feel like you'd like Mandy.
I think so too, but he hates Nicolas Cage.
But I think that's okay. Because, hear me out.
I think you're lining me up on this.
Well, I was like, look at this guy. That's a Mandy-looking guy right there. Like that.
That's a Mandy guy.
Yeah.
He's using the camera with the thumbs and
finger
the
camera. Yeah.
Well, that's why I'm not a director, guys. Oh, this scene looks pretty good here.
He looks
between my fingers. This looks great.
That's the test. As much as like there are parts where he's full blown Nicolas Cage, there's parts where he's not, and I feel like it balances out enough that the movie is not like. It's not like Mom and Dad where he's just like
crazy at all times.
Yeah, and like that that going into it.
But that's a great movie too.
I love that movie too. Either you love it or you hate it kind of thing.
Yeah.
This though, I feel like there's a bit more to chew on. I think you might like it.
So, quick question for you, because like this and I'm not pointing a finger at Larry because I've heard so many people say this, but previous guests of the show said this last week, but I've had the constant debate of this. A lot of people feel that movie is like style over substance. Oh. And because like it's very, very stylized.
Yeah.
But I think that there's so much more to that movie, but it gets written off as that
people
because
who say that I need to calm down. Like, let's be honest. Like the style helps the substance. That's how it works.
That's hard-hitting
but
words,
also I think there's a pretty great story in there too.
I
think it's like heavy and it's unique, and
I mean, it might not be the most groundbreaking story, but it's not told lazily either. Like there's heart in
it's
it.
Not a classic revenge tale though. Like these,
That's true.
I've heard people comparing them to like Cenobites, like from Hellraiser. Like they're like motorcycle riding Cenobites. I'm like, yes, there is no better way to get my wiener hard than those words.
Oh my god! And they have like those like spiky penises.
Yeah, I know. I love it.
Sick.
Yeah,
that shit is so cool. Yeah. It's like every 10 minutes in that movie, I'd be blown away by something completely.
I know, and it's just so bizarre. And like,
I want to watch it again. I only saw the one time.
Courtney, my girlfriend, she watched it twice, and she said that was her number 1 last year. But the thing is, I also love how the title comes in at an hour into the movie.
Well, that reminds me of the next one on my list.
Okay.
Climax.
Yes. Okay. So you were originally going to choose Climax.
Well, I just thought like maybe because I know it's a film that most people probably haven't seen just because it's until recently it's been hard to watch. But I just mentioned it in case you guys want to check it out. But I would wholeheartedly recommend Climax. Although Mitch said that you might not like this movie.
I have a tough time imagining Buzi liking that movie, but I think no. You know what?
You're pretty good. Like yours around 75%.
I don't think that you'd like it, but I think that you would have a real experience with it.
Okay.
And like that counts for something. Like Buzi would react to that movie.
Okay.
Like that was my number 1 film of last year, 100%.
Yeah, top. And like I
loved it so much.
I loved it too. And it's like, but it's one of those ones that's like, if it's not your number 1, did you really like it? And like I'm like
damn. All right.
No, but
sorry for having an opinion.
No, but like that.
Sorry, number 2 is what I meant.
No, but that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. But like, it's just like, I don't know. I was like, yeah, I really liked it. But then everyone was like, it's a fucking masterpiece.
Okay, yeah.
Bow down.
Well, see, I had a little bit of that on my head too.
And that's fine.
After I saw it, but it's very much just a fucking Kyle movie. Like there's no universe where I wouldn't have liked that movie. But when I saw it again recently, I kept that in mind. I'm like, okay, is this like actually a good movie, or is it just something that's like just for me kind of thing?
Yeah. Give Buzi and our listeners a rundown of what Climax is.
Well, Climax is basically like,
so it's a Gaspar Noé film.
Yeah, Gaspar Noé. If you've ever seen any of his movies, they're very stylized. He's made movies like
Irreversible.
Into
the Void.
That movie's so good. Yeah. Enter the Void is probably the one movie that's most similar to this in a way. But to be honest, I never connected with that movie much because it was just like too much shit going on. It was a little too like video gamey for me. Whereas Climax like hit it right home for me. And it's essentially just like it takes place in one night, and there's a group of dancers who are in like a dance troupe, in a dance school, and someone spikes the punch. and the night just delves into like chaos. And it's a really simple story. There's really nothing more to it than that. But you just see these characters unfold, and certain things happen that are terrifying. Other things happen that are somewhat like sweet, and other things happen that are just like you've never seen anything on the screen like this before.
Yeah, and
it
like,
blows your fucking.
What's important to point out about this one too that I didn't mention in my review when I talked about it is that like I don't really like when movies do the whole drug trip thing and then it's like the camera goes crazy. This doesn't do that.
No, it doesn't.
It's really like the camera's there, you're watching these people trip, but you're not tripping with them.
Are you telling me the trip in Escape Room wasn't real enough?
No, I love that part, but that's because that movie was fucking garbage.
I kind of want to see Escape Room.
It's pretty bad and it's good. Like it's good.
Yeah, it's good bad.
Imagine Escape Room if there was just one room. That would kind of be Climax. Almost.
Yeah, and
wait, you haven't seen Escape Room though?
But I get the idea.
Why are you pitching me a movie you haven't seen?
I think you can put
Come on, man. Like, this isn't Citizen Kane. I think I get the fucking idea of what Escape Room is about.
You don't know.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, you're not wrong, but cut me some slack here.
The climax is fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. No, I don't even know. Like,
it's just ugly too.
But the second time I saw it, it like solidified it for me. Like, it's probably in my top 10 of all time. Like, I love that movie.
Favorite No Way
of
Home?
All time.
It's my favorite No Way Home for sure. Wow, Irreversible. I haven't seen it in a while.
But the thing
in my memory, it's like a masterpiece, but I just haven't seen it in a
I feel like you'd be able to watch Climax more often than Irreversible. Like Irreversible is fucking like, but Climax is it's a struggle too.
Well, then you're talking about like a drug trip, and like, you know, they don't use like cheesy visuals or like obviously like, oh, this person's high kind of visual. But watching that movie, to anyone who's ever like done hard drugs or like a psychedelic or something, you get how those people are feeling. Like,
not only that, it's the world's worst place to be having a fucking drug trip, like, because they're a hardcore dance
environment.
A closed environment where they're all dancing and there's a kid.
I feel like if you
if
you did drugs and watched that movie, it would be a terrible time.
Absolutely no.
I wouldn't recommend that to anyone.
No, and Buzi would do that.
But so, maybe he would like.
I do that most of the time.
Maybe he's the exception.
Yeah, no. Courtney's like really into dancing, and she fucking loved that movie. Like, the dancing.
This is news to me.
Really?
When is Courtney has never expressed any interest in dance, and not to call you out. No, just like that seems like such a weird thing.
That was her life for 20 years.
Oh, like she just gave up on her.
You didn't know that for 20 years? Come on.
Yeah, she turned into an adult and took on the drinking side.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah, exactly. We're all there.
Now we're just dancing with the devil.
Yeah, I don't know. Climax. It's good. And on the second time, they cut it down a bit. Actually, I think it's like about 5 minutes shorter now. Okay. Which doesn't sound like a lot of time, but like they cut down some of the dancing scenes a little bit. They trimmed it up in a real nice way where it's a little bit of a smoother watch. Anyways, that's a great one. Next one, I think you guys have definitely talked about Suspiria.
The new one.
The new one. Yeah. Fucking loved Suspiria.
Did you do it all in one sitting?
Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, that movie could have been 5 hours. I would have loved it. It was
you saw it at the Roxy, obviously.
If only those seats were comfier, then it'd be better. But
I know, and that's I had the same experience. I loved it as well, but it's like I own it on Blu-ray now, and I'm looking forward to watching it again.
I gotta buy it.
Yeah, because like I'm looking forward to watching it on my couch because like that's when it's not the film's fault that it's hard to sit in a theater for 3 hours.
It is hard.
And it's not exactly like Guardians of the Galaxy or like something that's like, I know that.
Yeah, that's true. I kind of have this rule for me where like I either like movies to be 90 minutes or 3 hours.
Yeah.
I almost hate anything in between because it's like, either it's like feels too long or it could be longer or it could be shorter. But if you're 90 minutes, right to the point, no bullshit. 3 hours, okay, let's be honest, there's going to be some bullshit, but that's the point.
Yeah.
Like, that's okay. Yeah. He intended for there to be bullshit. I'm going to roll with it.
Yeah.
Luca knew there was going to be a long dancing sequence. I'm here for that long dancing sequence.
Oh my god, that dancing sequence is amazing.
And it has one of the most disturbing scenes I've ever seen in my entire
life.
I
agree. And we showed it to, because Diego stands no chance. He will hate that movie.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's just totally not his thing.
The original too.
Yeah, he despised the original.
I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I actually like this version more than the original.
I agree.
Yeah, and I'm going to be on Rank and Review, and we're talking about which movies, and one of the movies is the original Suspiria. So I'm planning on, that's the only one I haven't watched out of all the movies because I want to watch them back to back.
Well, and I love the original Suspiria.
Yeah, it's great, but it's a completely different movie.
It's so different, so it's almost hard to compare them, to be honest.
That's what's awesome about it, though.
Kind of unfair, but you're right.
That makes it so much better as a remake.
And like the term like style over substance, while I don't agree with it, like I could see people talking about that
Suspiria,
with the
Dario
Suspiria.
Argento, yeah.
I mean, that's fair.
That's where it makes sense.
I get that.
Yeah, it does make sense there.
But this and like the original Suspiria is so like colorful and like absurd, but this one's like so like
mean.
flat looking and like
black.
almost boring in a way.
Yeah.
But I love it.
That dance sequence. Yeah, what I was getting is I showed just Diego that scene, and I realized that the scene is. I still stand by that. I think it's one of the most disturbing things I've seen in cinema.
You're talking about when like the possession scenes.
Yeah,
sort of thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
It's fucking fantastic,
Oh,
and like my jaw was on the floor. And like as a horror fan who sees everything, like that's the one scene that stands out to me in the last like couple years.
Right,
like
right.
that's like up there.
You
with
have
like,
some experience. You've seen.
Well, honestly, I
You've
think
seen a couple films.
It's
Yes.
just a couple.
no, like the movie. There's always some of my favorite movies the last couple of years. One. I didn't think that I loved it when I first saw was The Witch, and I now consider that probably in my top 10 of all time. Like
the Mitch, like that funny photo.
Yes, the Mitch. Yeah,
That's my review of photos.
no, but like there's a scene in The Witch that stands out to me in the way that that scene in Suspiria stands out to me.
Saying. Yeah,
and it's just like fuck me that. Oh, it's awesome.
No, it's great. And like near the end when like everything is in like
crazy
four frames a second.
Yeah.
Just
And
like it looks kind of stupid, but it's awesome at the same time.
And the Tom York is cranked up to 11.
I have a buddy who like was really into that soundtrack because I think they put it out maybe like
I really like the soundtrack,
I think
but
they put it out like a week before the movie or maybe
Yeah.
a month even, and he was like. He fucks with that soundtrack like so hard. He loves it,
Yeah.
and then he just envisioned it in such a different way. So
Well,
that
I
when he
can't
saw
imagine.
them,
Is it a disappointment
it was
for
a
him?
huge
Oh.
disappointment for him, which really bums me out. He still enjoyed the movie, but it like hindered his experience quite a bit. But.
Okay, because I don't think that the soundtrack is actually even that much of a standout. And I got to watch it again, but I don't think it's
in
as
the
much of a
film?
standout in the film.
I agree.
Until the end.
Yeah.
In the end, it's just like, okay, the fact that I'm watching this happen with this soundtrack, people. Don't be bored. You will see this movie and you will understand what we're talking about.
You guys got to check it out. I've only seen it the one time still, so I'm looking forward to watching it again.
But that like the strangest soundtrack for the weirdest scene that goes on for an hour.
But I mean, the whole movie is so like weird in its own way that like it works. Like nothing really feels like mashed together or just like cobbled together.
That's what fascinates me and I still think this, and it's actually one of the reasons why you're on the podcast in the first place. But we did the episode with our friend Dylan Hershuk, and we did an episode on funny games. That's one of my favorite Tear Table episodes. I just want to say I love that episode, and I love Dylan. But Dylan doesn't love horror movies. He loves certain things about horror. But I know that like Suspiria was a huge he loved it and then hated it.
Yeah,
and I think so because it's like what I like about like what I appreciate is, and I'm kind of fascinated by is like you're not a huge horror guy, but then you're totally down for some real fucked up horror.
Well, the thing is like I feel like I have my own predetermined like horror radar where I can tell if this movie's gonna be good or not.
Yeah,
and I don't think I've quite like dived into like the more like campy horror stuff yet.
Yeah, that was probably
I don't know if I ever
thing.
will be one of those
Yeah,
guys, unfortunately. But that being said, I mean, like if a movie's good, it's a good movie. Like I'm not trying to discount anything.
I'm not going to try and sell you on any Friday the 13th movies. Like,
man, I don't know.
I can't imagine that being something.
I saw the first one a long time ago.
It's fucking terrible.
Isn't Kevin Bacon in that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the first one was one of the worst Friday the 13th.
That's
movies.
the one I saw. Yeah, back in the day, I saw a couple like of those like I don't know what you would call them like slasher flicks. At the Broadway years and years ago, and I saw also Dream Warriors, but I loved Dream Warriors.
I was about to kill you.
I loved Dream Warriors.
I've murdered people for less.
Like you've walked a fine line, sir, and you survived.
Friday the 13th was kind of whatever for me, to be honest. I didn't hate it, but
it's not even on the same radar.
It was just kind of okay. Yeah. But Dream Warriors, a whole different story.
Dream Warriors is a movie that every single human needs to watch. Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors.
I spent 99 cents on iTunes to buy Dawkins' single when I came home.
It's amazing.
Because your boy had to.
Yeah.
Even though it was on my dad's credit card, your boy had to. That 99-cent charge.
That's the one time where it would make sense if you're
Kyle, what is this?
Well, there's this movie. Have you heard of it? Fuck off.
That's the one time where that saying would be literal. Dad, your boy had to.
It's a fact.
It's like a sitcom right now.
Okay, well,
the last movie I have, just so I can get off of
Let's hit it.
my shit. I finally watched Hereditary recently.
Let's talk about it.
So that movie was amazing.
Yeah.
Again, it's like one of those movies for sure in the league of everyone and their goddamn dog told me it was the best movie ever. And so I didn't watch it for about a year because that was just like, because I've done that way too many times where I get hyped up on a film and then it lets me down because, I don't know.
You know who else's dog talked to him?
Who?
Son of Sam.
Wow.
I just want to make that connection for you.
I don't know what's going on.
Oh, okay. I just compared you to a serial killer. I'm sorry.
You don't know who Son of Sam is?
No. Guys.
He's the son of Sam.
fuck.
So just like
Is
we
it kind of
derailed
like Jeffrey
the fuck out.
Dahmer?
Not as fun.
He doesn't fuck as many skulls.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Sam, but I'll tell you one thing about Hereditary, folks. This shit was pretty good, and I don't know, like the finale of that film.
Did you see it coming?
Not at all, to be honest.
And that's nice. It's like, because from just everything I've gathered from you and our limited interactions, it seems like you're fairly well versed fan of film, so you kind of understand where things are going, and it's nice to see that you were like, I did not see that coming. We didn't either.
Okay, if we're being real, you're the best. Like you're actually the best.
Just unzip right now.
No, here's the thing: is like Kyle, you're that guy though. Like
He shows up an hour late.
No, yeah. Well, okay. To be fair,
also,
let's get that out of the way. Kyle was late because he's like, "Yo, I'm so sorry. My sister was giving birth, or my sister."
And we're all like, "Yeah, why are you here?"
My sister's water broke, and they're just like, "Man, like,
I don't know. Like, it was the truth. I don't know what to tell you."
Yeah, like that's the craziest.
You don't make that up.
Yeah, no. But where I was getting at is that there's so many people who. Like, people could think that you're a film snob, but you're not even remotely.
Oh my God,
you're just a dude.
No, but you're like, you've got the... yeah, keep jacking it. You're the guy who has the knowledge to be a film snob, and you have every... Like, you've seen everything, but you can be just a dude about it.
Well, I don't know.
You can just appreciate something.
The only thing I really love is movies, so it's like...
I'm with you.
That's all I watch. Like, I look forward to seeing something that... I know nothing about. That's what gets me stoked.
Yeah.
So whether I like it or not, because there's movies that I definitely will tell you I hate, but at the same time, like I can usually find like something I enjoy.
Off the top of the head, what's a movie you hate that we haven't talked about already? So you can't use Venom.
Okay, actually, Venom's like not that bad, but
hey,
that's me.
I would say this is not a horror film, but Snatched with Amy Schumer.
Oh, random. Well, if it has Amy Schumer in it, like we don't like it.
No, but hear me out. I didn't mind Trainwreck. I thought it was like
I thought
probably
Trainwreck
2
was
out of
okay.
5. It was okay,
Yeah.
But Snatched is barely a film. This thing is terrible.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, Goldie Hawn, like, just she must
watch it.
She must have got paid.
Tread lightly.
Like, she must have got paid so much. No, I like Goldie Hawn. That's what I'm saying. Like
Kurt Russell's wife.
She got fucked over to be in that movie.
Yeah.
It is not a good look. Goldie needs she had a retirement for Snatched.
Yeah.
Yo, that's
that
is just too bad.
It's a problem there.
I don't know. That's like, to me, that is like the worst movie I ever saw, probably.
Really?
Wow.
It's like, I wish I could give it a 0 on Letterboxd, but I can't.
Yeah, I know. That's the worst. I think the only movie... I think I gave the Nightmare on Elm Street remake a half a star because I couldn't give it 0.
Is that the one with Rooney Mara?
Yeah, and Rooney Mara is so good.
I love Rooney Mara.
Yeah, and that movie's fucking awful.
Yeah, I remember seeing that like years and years ago, but just... It doesn't mean anything.
But okay, so to level up, because I obviously didn't reiterate what I'm talking about properly.
Let's get back on track.
Yeah, but
sorry.
let me quickly say this though. Spring Breakers. You and me love Spring Breakers.
What a movie.
Kyle, there's a 2% population of the people who like Spring Breakers who will also talk about Venom and say it's not that bad.
Well, there's things to like about Venom.
Yeah. No, but like the thing is, like, people who really love Spring Breakers are just like completely tend to be up their ass.
Up their own ass, yeah.
And that's I get hate on for that all the time, but it's like, you know what? I love The Witch, but I also watched Kingpin the other day, and it's fucking hilarious.
See, that's why I like this guy.
Yeah. I feel like we're brothers.
Well, yeah, Spring Breakers, like, as much as that's like one of my all-time favorite movies, I'll also be the first to tell you that there's some dumb fucking parts in there.
Intentionally.
But that's why I like it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You're right, though. I've definitely met people who will tell me they love Spring Breakers, and I immediately get excited.
Yeah.
Like, oh, fuck yeah, like another brother.
Exactly.
And then we'll start talking
you guys
about...
like show your
but then they
secret
fucking,
tattoos.
Yeah, then they hate
stonecutters.
But then they start digging into it, like talking about like the philosophy of the way it invokes...
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care about that. Like, the movie's good. That's all I got to say.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Anyway. Okay, well, thank you. All right, sorry to cut you off again. So Hereditary was great. Loved it.
That's really all you have to say.
All right.
You mentioned 2 A24 films in there. So you're an A24 man.
You're an A24 man.
Definitely.
You are.
Love Green Room. Green Room's an A24.
Green Room is fucking...
Spring Breakers also is A24.
Yeah.
Climax also A24.
Yeah, they do the best shit.
Oh, but actually, cool. It's cool that Climax is getting distribution in Canada from Raven Banner.
What?
Yeah.
I did not know that. That is a weird label
Right?
for them.
How weird is that? Yeah. So
that is by far the best Raven Banner movie. Like, by far.
I have to go no comment on that personally. I don't want to get in trouble. But I will say that, yes, I enjoyed Climax. That was on Raven Banner.
That's crazy. Okay. All right. Well, Buzi, do you want to talk about what we've been seeing?
Sure.
Do you want me to go or do you want to go?
I'm just gonna go quick because mine's a lot of bullshit, and we can just siphon through it.
Are we going to American Pie 5
We're not going to American Pie again.
Buzi brought up American Pie 2 last episode.
Yo, have you ever seen American Pie Bandcamp?
I have seen Bandcamp.
I think that's the only one I haven't seen.
I've seen Bandcamp so many times.
One time I rented American Pie Bandcamp, well, not one time, so often from Blockbuster that like the third or fourth time I got it, it wouldn't work because I scratched it and I had to clean it with the old toilet trick. You know
Did
what
it
I'm
work?
talking about?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Toilet trick always worked.
Man, I have seen Bandcamp so many times, it's embarrassing.
I've seen even like the Book of Secrets or whatever that one's
Or the Book of Love. I never saw that one. I saw the Naked Mile. Fuck,
What
they
the
did
fuck are you
so.
guys
All these
talking about?
they're the American Pie like straight to DVD
Oh
ones.
no.
I used to watch all the Van Wilder sequels.
Oh no,
Van
the Van
Wilder
Wilder.
freshman year.
That was one of the worst trips I've ever
That's
had.
definitely a half a star.
I got
Sure.
crazy high and watched that, and holy fuck, was that rough.
The Revenge of Taj. Or whatever.
Okay, hilarious story. Yo, that one, I saw that in theaters. It's the one where Taj is the main character.
It's actually
No,
the rise.
This
of
is one of my.
Revenge.
It's one of my favorite things because you can get to know a lot about a person when you're like, favorite movie of all time, go. And it's even better when they don't really like movies because I love hearing their responses. But like Courtney went to like a training thing, like just a bunch of people were doing a circuit training thing. They're like, favorite movie, go. And one of the girls said Van Wilder, and I was like, oh my god, I want to
fucking
party with
way.
this bitch so hard.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I was like, Van Wilder, really? And then another
In
person said Top Gun.
2019,
I
someone
know.
says their movie is Van Wilder.
Yeah.
That's almost kind of fucked up,
I know.
actually.
Okay, I'm sorry. I
No,
will
it's okay.
stop.
So
We didn't even let him start. We just started shitting on him instantly. We said, oh yeah, last week.
I've set precedents for this. I dug my own grave on this one. I watched,
So I watched Snatch.
half of I watched half of Goosebumps 2. I didn't get to finish it. It was because I found out I'm lactose intolerant, and I had a lot of dairy before I watched it.
Oh boy.
I watched half of it.
And then you shit your brains out.
It was really good.
Is Jack Black in that one also or no?
No, he like has a small. He's not main character anymore.
Yeah, people do not like that movie. I wanted.
I thought it was fine. Like from
Okay.
what I had watched so far, I was like, okay, this is pretty straightforward. What I expected.
I like
from it.
kind of love the first one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Like, I love
the first
it.
one was such a
Yeah.
delight.
Yeah,
I think
it
my
was.
friend saw that like I think it might have been like on Halloween Day or something.
Oh, man, yeah,
And
it
it
was
was like
great.
It was fun.
a fucking blast.
Yeah, that's why I was bummed out when I saw like why am I looking at reviews for Goosebumps 2? Like, what's
Yeah.
wrong with me?
What you want to be critical about this? But anyway,
No, but I was probably I'm with you. I was curious if it was going to be as good.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna finish it, and I'm not gonna eat any sort of dairy beforehand. So
I thought you were just going to say I'm not going to eat until I see this
I'm
film.
gonna fast. But so far it was good, so I'll give it like half of a good recommendation on that. The other kind of stuff I just wanted to quickly mention because I haven't gotten a chance to watch a lot. I ended up watching a rom-com, but I'm not going to talk about that. It's the other things that I did on Friday.
What's the rom-com?
Yeah, you have
Let's
to do
get
the
this out of the
rom-com.
way.
Okay,
You can't just say it.
Yeah,
we're
like
doing that March Madness thing, so I'm like writing down what I have as I go. It was Isn't It Romantic?
Is that the one with the really? Is Miles Teller in it?
Who? No.
Okay, I
Oh,
can't.
is that with what's her face from Bridesmaids? Like
Yeah.
oh,
Which one? Okay, isn't
Ruber
it Rom-
Willis?
Oh, Ruby
Rebel
Rose.
Wilson. No, it's Rebel Wilson or whatever. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
because
It's
Ruby
Not
Rose.
Ruber Willis.
Yeah, Ruby Rose is my soon-to-be ex-wife.
Okay, so I watched that. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine enough. Whatever.
Oh wow, that's a.
And if you really want to go down the rabbit hole, I also watched The Change Up, which I surprisingly laughed at a lot.
Ooh.
What is that? Is that the one?
That was a Ryan Reynolds, Jason Bateman vehicle.
Yeah,
Whoa, that movie
from like 2011.
I remember that movie.
I thought it was garbage.
I had a couple laughs at it.
I had a friend who was like angry watching that. Just thought it was just completely horseshit.
Oh,
Yeah.
like I loved watching Ryan Reynolds manhandle a baby for 20 minutes. If you ever watch the movie, you'll understand.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just gonna move past this because it's just gotten off this weird
I feel
tangent.
so bad right now. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Fuck him. He's here every week.
On Friday, I went, and this is all things I've bought, and I just kind of want to talk quickly about the things that I've
Oh,
bought.
okay, calm down.
Sorry.
Keep bragging.
You'll be excited.
He's
Rich.
flexing on us.
Yeah, this is.
So on Friday, I went and I purchased Extra 1, Extra 2, and Skeeters in a triple pack from our buddy Tyler Baptist because he had a copy of that, and I was like, I need Extra in my life. I need to own Extra.
Skeeters. What Skeeters?
It's big mosquitoes. Think of like the classic
Because
Hollywood.
I just found out that skeet means come.
You just found that out.
Dave Chappelle told us that many years ago.
Oh, skeet,
Skeet,
motherfucker.
yeah.
Oh, skeet.
Well, a
skeet.
guy who worked in
Goddamn.
a guy at work didn't believe me that skeet meant like jacking your dick.
Thank you.
Okay.
I haven't watched Skeeters yet, but thank you for telling
awesome.
me it's come the movie.
Just let us know if there's any dick jacketed Skeeters.
Anyway, I've also ascended into the year 2019 where I buy things off Amazon now.
I download things off Amazon.
Sorry, I buy things off Amazon. You should be proud of me.
I am very proud.
Within this week,
Buzi just learned how to use Amazon.
I did.
Amazon used to run my life. It actually became a problem. I would buy shit off there like daily.
It's a problem for me.
Between Wednesday and Friday of this week, I will receive Starry Eyes, House of the Devil, and Videodrome all at my doorstep.
You got the Criterion and Videodrome too, because that's the only option.
Yeah, that movie's a little harder to find than I realized.
Yeah, on Blu-ray, as far as I know.
Yeah.
That's what started
they
my...
just had a Criterion sale. Did you...
Oh, fuck.
I just got the Rosemary's Baby Criterion, which is crazy because it's one of my favorite movies, but I just was always like, yes, it's one of my favorite movies, but this guy definitely fucked kids. So, like, it's Polanski.
I mean, the man made The Pianist.
It's true.
Kind of sounds like Pianist.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say I'm done with what I've watched this week, so you can...
What I don't get... Okay, so I got the Rosemary's... That's how I'll start. I haven't watched it yet, but I got the Rosemary's Baby Criterion, and there is a sticker on the cover that just says, director approved, and it's got Roman Polanski's signature on it. I'm like, that's what you... Like, what the fuck are you...
Can you just start copying his signature and putting that on things? Can you sign for this? Of course.
Yeah. Sure, I'll sign your... Sure, I'll sign your tennis ball, kid.
I know what you're talking about, because I've bought Criterions that do that too, but that is
but
really,
it's like,
really
you think
funny.
that you'd leave the Polanski one off.
Especially Criterion. Usually they're like a little
more self-aware.
A little more, yeah, exactly.
Well, that's like Scream Factory putting out the 2 Jeepers Creepers movies. And that's I bought them because A, I do like them, but B, because I wanted to see they like always talk about the directors and the special features.
Yeah.
And there's like all of these interviews with Victor Salva. Not once does he talk about fucking kids. I'm putting you guys
He's going to get his
tough
4-hour
spot.
HBO special at some point.
I don't know.
Hopefully.
Maybe 5.
It feels like since this whole MJ thing has come out, not just to like throw shade at our own thing, but like other podcasts and just in general, it feels like there's been way too much talking about child fucking.
It needs to happen. No, it needs to happen.
All this shit
you talked about this on So Be It, and I think that's wrong. I think you are wrong, sir.
I'm not wrong.
You are wrong. Well, I think
people are opportunists for like what they want to stand up with.
But also, you got to keep in mind that the reason why this is so relevant is because those 2 kids who are like molested by Michael Jackson, they're coming out now, so it's relevant now because they are now ready to talk about it.
I'm not trying to take anything away from them.
No, you're saying it's okay what Michael did, and that it doesn't. It doesn't matter that he looks like.
He twists all my shit,
and you wish you were there.
Yeah, you wish. You're just mad because you weren't. No, I'm not going there. All right, so
I'll consider it happen, so I'll go with that for now.
Fuck.
Everyone considered it happen.
Oh my god, I'm gonna get so mad because I watched all 4 hours of it, and it's like now I have answers for everything. I'm smarter than everyone I know. I saw the documentary.
I watched a documentary.
I watched a documentary. I know more.
He's a physicist. He's also a psychologist.
I also want to mention quickly before I pass it off to you, Mitch. This beer kind of tastes like weed.
Don't most beers kind of?
Yeah,
this beer for me tastes a lot like weed.
It's a little dank.
It is. It's dank.
Well,
it's a dank ass beer.
I'll show you this most dank beer I know. The other beers I have in my backpack.
Oh my god!
Is it Four Loko?
Oh, that's my favorite.
Pabst just smells like weed to me.
Yeah, that's my favorite beer. It's my favorite shit beer.
Pabst is actually brewed in a giant frat house.
Okay, do you know that Pabst? This is like so off top. Pabst and Old Milwaukee are the exact same beer. They're brewed in the same factory.
Do you want me to
frat house? You mean?
Am I gonna blow the fucking lid off something right now for anyone local?
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna blow the fucking lid off, and I'm not supposed to be talking about this.
Mitch, are you sure you want to do this? Because I'll have to go back and edit this out.
I'm not editing it. Fuck them. I'm just kidding. Even though they're my favorite, Leopold's. Like we love Leopold's. Yeah. Leopold's lager.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just fucking Labatt Blue. Go and taste it. When you taste it, you're like 100%. That's Labatt Blue.
This is some dark shit.
I knew a fucking employee.
Shit my pants.
I knew an employee.
Yeah, this is a little bit bigger.
They're not allowed to talk about it.
I don't know if I'm ready to know this information.
This is gonna be Labatt.
Because I know I'm gonna be drunk one day and walk into Leopold's and be like,
"What the fuck?
Just Labatt Blue."
Okay.
You took my job.
You took good jobs. All right, I'm gonna talk about movies. So I'm going on the podcast with Rank and Review podcast with our friend and former guest Larry Parsons. We're talking about 6 witch movies. I love witch movies. So the movies that we're going to be talking about are Season of the Witch with Nicolas Cage, Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters, The Woods, The Craft, Lords of Salem, and Dario Argento's Suspiria. So there's some garbage in there, and then there's some gold in there.
Why is there not Halloween 3 Season of the Witch in there?
Because he does more than one witch episode. Like
But it's perfect.
You know how this guy works.
I know it's perfect though.
No,
It's
he's
the
perfect.
words.
Larry knows how to fucking because he's got three wild cards. Well, he's got like one that's for sure shit.
That motherfucker knows how to craft a list.
He does. He knows
Sounds
how to
like
craft.
it.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna start off with Season of the Witch with Nicolas Cage, which I just watched.
I've never seen this.
Okay, so I saw it in
So
theaters.
you're gonna give us a full review of all of these, even though you're gonna be talking
This
about
is
it
going to come like that rank and review episode will come out in 3 months. So I'm just gonna do little tidbits.
and this will come out today.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do so by the
These
time
are the facts.
by the time that comes out, my opinions probably will change. We know how I work.
Okay. Yep. Sure.
No, Season of the Witch, which was directed by Dominic Sena, which is the director of California with a K, Gone in 60 Seconds, Swordfish, and some very high-profile music videos featuring like Janet Jackson, Sting, Tina Turner, Fleetwood Mac, Brian
That's
Adams.
fucking heavy hitters.
They are heavy
I'm
hitters.
sorry, but California with a K sounds like a rapper.
Yes, sounds like a
I'm
SoundCloud.
California with a K.
It's Riff Raff's buddy.
Yeah. Okay, so this movie.
I was stuck on that.
I saw this movie in the theater. We all took a drink at the same time. That was pretty
I think
cute.
there's gonna be a lot of drinking today.
That was real cute.
Beautiful.
Okay, well, either way, this movie's fucking shit. Like, real bad. And I own it on special edition Blu-ray. It's called Season of the Witch. It's starring Nicolas Cage and Ron Perlman. And, what's her name? She's so good.
But do you like it?
Claire Foy's.
Oh, Claire Foy.
Claire Foy from, like, Unsane and Girl with the Spiderweb.
She was in First Man.
Yeah, she was his wife.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, that was a good movie. I like that movie. Okay, but either way, this is like Nicolas Cage has ramen hair in this movie. He has straight up ramen hair, so it's pretty funny that you bring that up. And pull up a picture
Who
for
doesn't
you.
approve? I can look over here.
Yeah.
He's like,
No, that was not a full of disapprove.
Look
like,
at him.
Shake. That was kind of just a whatever.
He looks almost exactly like Chad Kroger there. What?
I put that up. I put a side by side up of him and Chad Kroger because they look exactly the same. Either way, okay. So this movie is like I've always kind of liked it in a like, oh, I know it's bad way.
Yeah.
And it's funny, and it's like there are some really funny things. Like I'm just gonna give you some quotes because I'm not gonna allow anyone to sit through a full hour and 40 minutes of this fucking thing. Like you said, that extra 10 minutes unnecessary.
Not necessary.
Not necessary. I would also so. In the very first like 10 minutes of the movie, these are actual quotes. Whoever slays the most man drinks for free. It's him and Ron Perlman back to back looking at an army of their crusaders, looking at a bunch of people that they're going to kill. So they say that, and then they also say...
Wait, what?
And then Ron Perlman says something like, nah, and he says, fine, I'll kill all 600 myself. That's the quality of movie that we're talking about here.
Honestly, Ron Perlman, what an interesting
What a
guy.
man.
What an interesting
I
guy.
like, and I like Ron Perlman as an actor at times, but it's very few
I'm
times.
just trying to have a beer with Ron Perlman so bad.
Apparently, he's
He would
the
fucking
biggest
hate you.
prick.
Yeah, he would hate you being
We got
there.
intel that he is the biggest prick.
Well,
in-
I saw his like whatever his talk or
Comic-Con?
thing at Expo, and he was awesome. Like he was a prick. Don't get me
apparently,
wrong.
he hated this place. And
This makes me so happy to hear that.
yeah,
need
no,
to see
because
this
I hate
guy.
it too. No, but yeah, it's like one of the. This is one of those like it came out around the time of like Priest, Legion, like all those like really shitty like when 3D was just blowing
Is
up.
this one of those movies that was like fully funded by China?
I think so. Actually,
you know what I'm talking
like
about,
the
though?
H brothers.
Yeah.
What's it called? The Keanu Reeves. 47 Ronin was another one.
Exactly, because I remember seeing that, and I could be wrong, but I think it premiered in China first and made a fuck ton of money over there.
100%. I think that it's one of those.
And it was one of the first that, like, because now that's a really common thing.
Yeah.
But at the time, I think that I remember hearing about this, like, Nicolas Cage is like a big star in China now, kind of thing.
Oh
like,
yeah.
At the time.
No, and like that's the thing is
when
that
he was
and
at the lowest of his career.
yeah, exactly. This is the lowest. Like this and Ghost Rider is his lowest. I think. Like debatably.
Yo, Ghost Rider is fucking terrible.
It's one of my favorite shit
I
movies.
can't even think about that movie without laughing. Clearly,
I know it's awful, but like yeah. So this movie, I wanted it to like I like the shitty parts of it, but it's just too long to justify it being like so bad it's good. Like it's really not so bad that it's good. It's just bad.
Do you guys know that Nicolas Cage named his son Kal-El?
Yeah, Kal-El. He's a huge Superman fan. Haven't you seen the Superman pictures of Nicolas Cage? They're great.
Fucking dumbass. This guy is like so crazy.
Okay, Michael Jackson named one of his kids Blanket.
But that I can believe. Like, that makes more sense to me for some reason.
That's because his child was useless to him.
Yeah, he could. Oh my God, Jesus.
That's dark on so many levels. I'm sorry.
All right, I'm moving on from this. Season of the Witch, not good. Don't rewatch it. Also,
What's the letterbox?
It was
the Witch.
My letterbox in Season of the Witch was 1.5. I don't know what anyone else gave, but it was real sad.
Twice as good as Snatch, so I'll watch it.
Yeah, it's real sad seeing Christopher Lee that way. Like, Christopher Lee is in this movie, so it's rough seeing him. And not only that,
Hey,
but
he got a fucking paycheck. Too. What are you crying for him for?
Christopher Lee is a...
I know he is. He's got a fucking paycheck out of it. Sometimes you got to sift through some shit.
And he only had one scene, to be fair, so...
Yeah, there you go.
It was pretty
He's
fucking...
like, you want how much?
It's like I used to always say. Sometimes you got to be at the bottom of the barrel to know where you're at. You know what I mean?
Okay. Speaking of what I thought would be bottom of the barrel, I also watched Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters for the first time.
Who's
Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy, yeah, I remember. I was like, why is he doing this?
God, who else is in that? There's some bigger names in this movie. I'm trying to pull it up.
Somehow they got a big budget out of that.
Yeah, who's like the female lead in that though?
Gemma Arterton. She's
Jen Arden?
No, not Jen Arden. She's fucking insanely gorgeous. Like, she's one of the most insanely gorgeous women
like
I've ever
that
seen.
Movie and,
this bit.
Oh yeah, I mean that movie and what's it called? Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Yeah, that's what I thought this was going to be.
Yeah, like I remember those movies came out. They probably not even around the same time at all.
Famke Jensen was in this movie.
But when I saw the trailer for that, I thought, okay, maybe they're trying to do something like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. Okay. I never watched this movie. Thought it was going to be complete shit. So it's I was like PG-13 for sure. So
I heard it flopped big time.
Yeah, so I did I kind of fucking love this movie. Like,
what are you doing?
This is an 18A movie. I had no idea this is an 18A movie, and it's directed by the guy who did Dead Snow 1 and Dead Snow 2, and like Dead Snow 2 is great, but yeah, like, so Jeremy, it's basically they're the story of their Hansel and Gretel, all grown up, but now they got guns, and like, so it's like, and they say like, hey, fuck you, like all that kind of. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hate this fucking thing, but I love witches, and like there are times in this movie that remind me of Legend, like Tom Cruise Legend. Like, there are times where I feel like some of these. Have you not seen Legend?
No, I have. I'm just like
the makeups.
Okay.
They had 48 real makeup artists hired on this movie.
Really?
That is unbelievable. I thought this was going to be like a CGI fest. Of course, there's CGI.
Wait, did this movie get nominated for an Oscar?
It might have for like makeup and stuff, because the makeup is fucking awesome. There's so much good makeup in this movie, but like there are some characters that I was like, this feels like a Jim Henson character. Really? Like, it's.
Well, I'm kind of happy you mentioned this today, because I will tell you right now that film is a movie that I never would have remembered again in my entire life.
Me too.
So I mean, maybe I'll watch that. Honestly,
I don't know if I would still recommend it to you, but like, it's like I was pleasantly surprised. All like Courtney and I had quite a bit of fun watching it. It's like, yes, it's corny, but it's like they're. Yeah, but the thing is, it's one of those ones where now that I know what it is, I'm like, oh, and I saw what they were going for. They were 18A. Like, it was like, this could have been like an Evil Dead type situation or something like that.
Okay.
And it's not, but it's pretty slapsticky at times. Like, there's like, you see bodies explode, heads are exploding. Like, there's like this really dope ass troll in it, and like they like team up. I don't know. You see people's heads get crushed like they're tomatoes.
There's this really dope ass troll. That's how you know you got a good movie on your hands.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought the violence was pretty amazing. But okay, so moving on from that, I got two left. I'll be quick about them. Have either of you seen The Woods, directed by Lucky McKee, director of May?
No, is that the one? Is Ellen Page in that?
No. I think you're thinking of Into the... I watched that recently. It's really good. I
never saw that, but that's what I was thinking.
Something in the Woods. Into the Forest.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's a great movie, actually. Okay, but The Woods. Okay, so this is a movie you should watch.
The Woods.
Directed by Lucky McKee, director of May, and I think he did All Cheerleaders Must Die, Red, and The Woman. I've only seen All Cheerleaders Must Die in May. He's very strange. He makes some strange movies. They are very weird, but The Woods is fucking... Okay, so I'm just going to pull up we've been delving in these beers hard. This is going to be rough.
Well,
you look surprised.
Get it going, boys.
Just want to say, I'm pulling this up here.
I'm not going to lie. I've drank more beer today and it's not St. Patrick's Day than I did yesterday, which was supposed to be St. Patrick's Day.
I didn't have a beer yesterday, actually.
Or was it Saturday of St. Patrick's Day?
Sunday was.
Anyway, I had one beer all weekend, so I've had more today already.
The synopsis of The Woods. Sorry. Synopsis of The Woods is set in 1965 New England. A troubled girl encounters mysterious happenings in the woods surrounding an isolated girls' school that she was sent to by her disinterested parents. And her parents are played by Bruce Campbell and Emma Campbell. And it's also starring Patricia Clarkson, who is she played the mom in Sharp Objects, if anyone watched that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She's like so basically she gets sent to this all-girls school because she can do some strange things. So it's a witch movie.
I think I know what movie you're talking about here, but
that's the cover.
Yes.
So I had never even heard of this movie.
Yeah, you know what? How the fuck do I know about this movie? I think a friend of mine, Lindsay, used to watch this movie or was into it when it came out at least.
Yeah, I had no idea about it. I don't know how they came out in 2006.
I never saw it.
Yeah, it came out in 2006. I have no idea how it flew under my radar because this is extremely my shit. Like it's a really good witch movie. There's a lot to like about it here, so can just say that if you're someone who likes witch movies and you haven't seen The Woods or haven't even heard of it like me, give it a watch because it's pretty great. The cinematography is top notch and there's some really good CGI in it, which I never say.
From 2006.
Yeah, like there's some really good CGI in it.
That's cool.
Anyways, I'm not gonna say too much about that. The Woods is great. Last but not least, I finally got my copy of Scream Factory's The Craft.
Sick.
So The Craft is like a movie that played a huge role in my life growing up.
I wouldn't say huge role for myself, but I would say it was definitely something that was rented often.
Yeah.
Like my sisters worshipped.
Exactly. I had two older sisters who always had this fucking thing on. Yeah. And I'm convinced that I probably didn't like it at first, but I saw it so many times because of them that I just kept watching it. So
for me, The Craft, for some reason, when I was younger, I would get The Craft and Hocus Pocus mixed up.
Yeah, I love both those movies.
Barney would fucking crucify you if she heard that.
When I was older, I thought that The Craft was like maybe the first 20 minutes of Hocus Pocus, and that they just turned into those women later on into Hocus Pocus.
That is a great origin story.
But I know now that is not the case.
Yeah, that's not the case.
But I've seen The Craft since. Yeah. And I really like that movie. It's a lot of fun.
Okay, so, a lot of fun. Yeah, like I was like super stoked. I've been waiting for this. Like I've been putting this episode off because he had The Craft in there. So I was like, oh, well, it's coming out on Blu-ray in March. I want it. So I waited for it and I picked it up. Courtney and I watched it again yesterday. I still really love this movie, but I guess I've realized that my taste changed as an adult male. Like I still really like The Craft, but I don't like. I think I remember it being a lot more brilliant than it actually is.
Yeah,
it's just
more nostalgia, maybe.
Yeah, life hits you hard. Hey,
it's an entertaining movie, but it's definitely not like. Why would this be like a Mitch is obsessed with this movie? It's definitely not a like adult Mitch movie, but I do still like it quite a bit, and it was really enjoyable to watch. And
just the phrase "life hits you hard" it can be used for anything.
Life hits you.
So we couldn't tell if Buzi was actually like replying or if that was just what he wanted to say.
That was this one of those like throwaway lines. You could say it to anybody for anything.
Yeah,
it really got me though.
But that's all I'm going to leave that off on. That's everything that I've seen.
Well, I got to watch The Woods, and I haven't seen The Craft in so long. I'd really like to watch.
It's still great.
Just watch Hocus Pocus and you'll get the end.
Hocus Pocus is amazing, too.
That's the ending. I do like Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, it's so good. But like the thing...
It's no Halloween Town. But.
The thing about... Yeah, fuck Halloween Town.
Calabar's Revenge is pretty fucking sick. You can't tell me it's not.
The thing about the best thing about The Craft, too, is just the 90s nostalgia that fucking floods through your head. Because it's like, it's got every 90s band in it, every 90s trend. Like it is just 90s through the goddamn roof.
The whole fashion was like all funded by Hot Topic, complete sponsorship for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it was more Abercrombie and Fitch at that time.
Oh, man.
Or American Eagle. Something like that.
You think it was
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about 90s American Apparel, not American Apparel, American Eagle, so.
Can you ask Buzi if you want something? Do you want some?
Oh, Buzi, can you give me the news?
Yeah. Yes.
Close enough. And it's time for wacky voice news time. I don't have it. I can't hit it the way I used to.
That's what she said.
Original Goosebumps illustrator Tim Jacobs teased his new collection with R.L. Stine. He had it on Twitter, and he's like, R.L. and I haven't done anything together in about 15 years, and I can't tell you too much, but we're working together again.
Good
he said
Lord.
on a podcast.
So, oh my goodness. So you read into that article and you took a quote.
Took you that.
Holy
took
shit.
you to task on that one.
Oh my
so
God.
I think that's really cool just because we even did a whole thing about like our favorite Goosebumps books and everything, and like covers always had a lot to do with it.
Deep trouble.
Honestly, maybe the biggest part to do with it. The covers is what I remember most of the time.
Well, especially because, like everyone who's buying it, they're like 8. What the fuck do 8-year-olds like visually
true.
appeasing things?
Mm-hmm.
So
Cuckoo Clock of Doom.
Oh,
It's pretty
classic.
good.
Hell yeah,
The book I
classic.
don't think was pretty good, but the cover's cool.
Yeah, I don't remember the book at all, but I just said classic. So.
Monster Blood 5. Like,
who could forget?
who could forget?
But yeah, like I think his artwork is fantastic. There's something very timeless about his style of artwork. That
I
are like
love
maybe
Curse
it's
of
just
the
because,
Mummy's Tomb.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm biased because I grew up with all that shit. But
Would you say that's some of like growing up your first like encounters with like horror elements?
oh, if you're going like way back, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
You're seeing like alligators and shit on a cover, like a Bigfoot. You're like, oh shit, what is that?
Like some of that shit was gruesome. Other covers were like not as obviously.
Yeah.
But some of them were kind of like
They were
kinda
spooky.
terrifying.
Yeah.
Next thing up is kind of some sad news, and I don't want to butcher this person's name, so if I say it incorrectly, I'm sorry. It's John Carl Buechler, I believe.
John Carl
Buechler. He passed away at 66. He had worked with Reanimator and Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Dream Master, and Halloween 4, and Ghoulies, and From Beyond. He did a ton of stuff. He was doing directing, a lot of stuff. Yeah.
No, it's yours.
No, 2 each.
Oh my god.
Are you guys listening to me?
I'm sorry,
Yeah, Dream
especially now,
Master.
like, because you, if you haven't for some reason, and you're a Nightmare on Elm Street fan, you need to watch the documentary Never Sleep Again. That is a 4.5-hour documentary, and I would take 10 more hours. It is fucking awesome. They do a half an hour on each movie, but John Carl
Really?
Buechler plays. He's in a lot of it, and it is fucking awesome. It's so good. If you like Nightmare on Elm Street, it's the best.
Okay.
Watch him on that.
Okay. Going on from that, Park Chan-wook. You guys love me some Park
Oh
Chan-wook.
my fucking god! This sounds amazing.
We'll be releasing an ultra-violent western titled "The Brigands of Rattle Creek." Brigands?
All right, sure.
I don't know what it's called. I just know that's written by S. Craig Zoller.
Yes, and it was written by S. Craig Zoller.
Who's
So
that?
He wrote and directed Bone Tomahawk and Brawl in Cell Block 99.
Oh,
Have you seen
okay.
either of those?
No, but I know about the Cell 99 one.
You gotta watch both
Never
of
saw
them.
it though. Never
But
saw
like,
it.
You gotta watch
this sounds
both.
like it's gonna be bloody as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, I
He's-
loved it. That guy's last movie was amazing. You guys see the Handmaiden?
Oh, I haven't seen it yet, but I want to.
Oh yeah, baby, that's a good movie.
Yeah.
That's a
Fuck,
great movie.
I will watch anything that has S. Craig Zoller's name on it. Like, he's like the new Tarantino is what people are saying. But like,
okay,
he's
cool.
like, fuck, it's so. Oh god, watch both those movies. They're so good.
Sweet. Well, that sounds awesome.
Going on from that, there is
Can you pop this?
There is 6
Sure I can
films
pop
coming out, short films, and they're all based in the Alien universe that are coming out. Fox is doing those. They look incredible. And the one thing I'd like to say that's really interesting, and I'm going to try and get some comments back from her, is my cousin actually did special effects for some
What's
of
your cousin's name? Because
Alicia.
Alicia. Last name?
Oh, fuck.
She's your cousin.
No, it's
so-
cousin through marriage. It's not like, we're not blood related.
Yeah, Courtney's friends with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's in Vancouver and did
Yeah,
a bunch of
Courtney's
special
friends with
effects.
her, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to try and see if I can talk to her about that. That sounds pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty wild that you'd be related somehow to someone who does something alien related.
I know. It's super weird. And like when I
That's
saw it, I was like,
really cool.
yeah.
Thank you, Kyle.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you, Kyle.
And so is the series is it going to be like online or is it going to be how's it going to be released like Netflix or what is it?
I believe it's online because they're trying to keep up. I don't know if it's going to be on that like Disney thing because Disney owns Fox and all those titles. So I don't know if that's going to be
right.
through their whole thing or if they're going to do it online.
The little trailer that they posted is fucking super cool.
Yeah, because I mean, recently they also
Right.
did the mini series with Alien Isolation, and that was through IGN
yeah.
released
I saw
that.
that.
So I don't know how that works with licensing for all that stuff.
Would it be like multiple directors for each like short? Is that
Yeah,
the-
and it's
Oh,
supposed
cool.
to be all canon to the universe.
And
as
it's
well.
all like, yeah, different makeup artists from all over the world and shit like that.
Yeah.
Just people all pitching in to like add to the alien lore in some way.
Yeah.
That sounds sick.
And this was from Twitter. The Soska sisters said that they want to remake David Cronenberg's Dead Ringers and Scanners. They want to take a shot at both of those.
We'll watch their Rabid first because they directed Rabid.
Okay,
The-
I don't know about that movie.
Okay, it's yeah. Like, do you know who the Soska sisters are?
No, I don't.
They're
Enlighten me.
the
Tell me.
ones who, me and Diego met them in the airport at Florida. Yeah, I'm really excited to see Rabid, but
yeah, and that, like it sounds like they're super pumped to try and get in and do more remakes.
And also they're like two of the nicest human beings I've ever met in my life.
Crazy.
Yeah, they're incredibly
nice. On
nice.
Scanners, that's like.
I feel like like that's one of those things. Okay, so as Canadians, to me, it's like that's like, whoa, watch it, you're touching Cronenberg, but like, but the thing is, like, to the whole, like, I still feel like he's an underrated director.
I think you're right. I mean, generally speaking, he only has maybe 2 or 3 movies people
talk about, like,
really
Scanners and Videodrome. I guess Dead Ringers was very big for a while.
I think like one that definitely was like more like a film buff movie was Crash.
Yeah, Crash. Crash is a big film buff movie.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Like, it premiered at Cannes.
Yeah.
It's like one of those.
The Fly is definitely his biggest movie,
true.
which is
Okay,
it's
so
still a
maybe,
remake, but
maybe he's not that underrated.
well, he's done some great shit.
Yeah.
Denis Villeneuve's Dune has begun filming this month, so that's gonna be
like, that's where it all ends.
I'm so fucking excited.
Yeah.
I think he said he's gonna make it 2 parts though. Did you see that?
I didn't have that in this article, which I did read. So
I don't know, like, I'm always apprehensive on like 2 parts, but it.
If you got 2 parts for Blade Runner, would it not have been enjoyable for you? Or were you not into Blade Runner?
Oh, I loved Blade Runner so much. My father, though, is an even bigger fan of Blade Runner 2049.
So really? Does he also realize that it's better than the original?
He'll honestly, like, what did he see the other day? Oh, he saw Green Book with him. Him and my mom watched Green Book.
I watched Green Book, too.
And they were like, oh, we watched Green Book. Pretty good. It's no Blade Runner, though.
that's weird comparison. That's the best fucking review ever.
But the thing is he says that about literally every movie. Like, what did he see recently that he loved? He saw that movie Beautiful Boy with, like, Timothée Chalamet and Steve
I watched
Carell,
that too, yeah.
which is like a pretty good movie. He's like, oh, Beautiful Boy, so sad, good movie. It's no Blade Runner, though.
That's his new
amazing.
But he's specifically talking about the new one,
not
the old one.
I love this man.
He loves the new one more than any movie ever made. In his mind, he was like, okay, Kyle, I gotta explain something to you. When we all saw the first Blade Runner, it blew our minds. We never saw anything like that before. This one, it's the same thing, but it's just better. I'm like, all right.
Oh my god, he's my favorite. I do love that new Blade Runner.
I'm definitely on board. Yeah, but like, dude,
I'm gonna start saying that for everything now. It's no Blade Runner.
It's no Blade Runner. Not even. Don't specify which one.
Beautiful Boy.
Beautiful Boy. It's no Blade Runner. Or I told him that, he's like, oh, what was your favorite movie of the year? He always asked me that. I said, oh, I loved Climax. He's like, well, is it better than Blade Runner? I'm like, well, it's hard to say. I don't know what to tell you right now. You got to watch it for yourself.
I like that your dad is taking an interest in what you do, though.
It's true.
That's a tough one, though, man. That 2049 was so fucking good.
Oh, I saw that in the first time I saw it was in Portland at IMAX Theater in Portland. It was fucking amazing. And I was a little high. It was great.
Hell yeah. That's the ideal watching experience.
Well, it was Portland. Everyone's high in Portland.
Yeah, exactly.
This one, I just read the article, so Mitch, if you want to bust in after that, you can kind of fill this one out. James Gunn is back as the director of Guardians of the Galaxy 3. See, I don't really care, so I mean, if you want to,
I love that.
Yeah,
it's like
I think it's really, really interesting that this is happening.
Yeah, it is, because I'm surprised that he did it. Like, I'm surprised that he went back, but I'm also not surprised because he loves the people and the property so much. And so, like, I think that I don't fucking. I would not watch a Guardians of the Galaxy without James Gunn. Like,
I don't know. I mean, like,
but you wouldn't have any Dave Bautista if you didn't have James Gunn,
and you wouldn't have you wouldn't have any of the cast.
Yeah,
the cast also, like, they all fucking signed on with him.
It's weird, right? Like, it's a really, like,
I think it's a good thing, because it's finally showing that people can fuck up and still have a chance at surviving.
I agree, and I think. Well, I don't know. I think you should still. How do I put this? You should still be accountable for your actions, but at the same time,
he was accountable for so long.
In my opinion, though, it's like, if you're really, really upset about this kind of stuff, maybe you just shouldn't hire him in the first place. Disney, like, do your fucking research.
They knew exactly.
Well, then it's like, how can you? Yeah, then
he apologized for
Twitter
it.
Feed.
He already apologized for it. Like, that's
despite what he said or anything like that. Yeah, like, Disney made such a big deal about it. Yet it was your decision to hire this guy. So
exactly.
Don't hide the fact that
you're gonna act like Disney did not know about this.
This man made Romeo and Juliet. You should realize who you're getting your hands into. Like.
No doubt. And like even Super and like he's just I love him, and I love that franchise, so I'm very excited.
I read a thing saying that one of the Disney execs or Marvel execs at the time, I guess, he saw Super. That was the only thing he saw from him, and he said, "Okay, let's give this guy a movie."
That's so weird.
And
it's awesome.
It's awesome, but it is really fucking weird.
That's why Marvel's making such good movies, though, is because they're getting guys like that. Like, they're taking huge chances.
Yeah, and this is actually, as much as it's like not a big news story, in a way it is kind of a big
I think
news story.
it's fucking huge that they would rehire him after like, but I guess they received some crazy backlash.
Well, I remember seeing like a letter from like the main cast, like speaking out,
and
saying,
they all
like,
signed it and everything.
We think this guy is like a good guy. Like, we all kind of fuck up. That's kind of the stance they were taking.
Yeah, I think it would be different if it was like something that he said recently, even if he said something like this recently, and if he hadn't already apologized for it all.
Yeah, I mean, despite not even, I'm kind of looking beyond that. It's just really interesting that they hired him back. Like, I actually did not see that coming.
There's no way I would have seen that coming.
Told me that the other day, and it actually kind of blew my mind. I was like, this is kind of a big deal.
I was just here getting all excited, thinking like, holy fuck, Suicide Squad 2 is going to be amazing, because he's like writing, and I'm like, man, James Gunn is going to go in and fucking drop a bomb, and all of a sudden DC is going to be better than Marvel, which is unheard of. Like, in the film world.
I had so much fun watching Aquaman.
I loved Aquaman.
I saw it 2 times in theater.
It's great.
I thought it was like maybe the dumbest movie I've ever seen, but in the best way possible.
Exactly. It's entertaining.
But the buddy I saw with the first time, he went for 2 different smoke breaks. Not because he disliked the movie, just because like there's a lot of fluff.
That movie is fucking long, too.
He has the time to.
Yeah.
He came back, didn't miss a thing, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's no big deal.
No, I fucking loved Aquaman.
So
he's like, did I miss anything? You just give him the thumbs up. He's like, you're golden, man.
Oh, don't worry. They just went from the underwater scenes to the Sahara scenes to the little Italy scenes. It's no big deal.
Yeah, exactly. He's still riding a shark.
I fucking loved that movie so much.
It's so dumb, but so fun. Cool. Is that everything you got?
I got one more piece of news, and this one's really exciting for me. I feel like I've just kind of been building up more and more excitement for this. Is early reviews for Pet Sematary says it's one of the best Stephen King adaptations ever. Not just recently, ever.
Wow.
I'm excited for that.
And like I know that a lot of people weren't super jazzed on it because it seems like they are changing a little bit of stuff with the main story, which
I like that.
I do too.
I like that.
And I like they're going a little bit more with kind of a Wendigo adaptation within that story.
Yeah,
it's just super cool. That kind of wasn't all there in the original one, so that'll be super interesting for me.
It just seems like it's not going to be the exact same movie, which is why the fuck would you want that same movie?
Yeah,
like, you already have it. So like I like when everyone was crying about how it's the girl and not the boy. I'm like, what? Like, you are 30 years old.
Who's behind this again? Who's directing it again?
The director of Starry Eyes. Have you seen Starry Eyes? Because that's a great.
Have you seen Starry Eyes?
No, I haven't seen Starry Eyes
dude.
Yet.
It's going to be at my house between Wednesday and Friday, and within next week you can borrow it.
I would absolutely love to. I feel like I know
Kevin
something.
Kolsch and Dennis Widmeyer.
If you scratch it though, like flush it down the toilet, please. Like save it
at least 3 times.
Yeah.
No, like straight up, they didn't really direct any other things. Like,
for some reason,
they did Mama 2.
I thought they were behind
That's
something
not
else.
real. It's coming out. Yeah, I was like, Mama has a sequel.
No, Big Mama's House 2 is pretty.
Big Mama's House 2 is fly.
Okay, do you guys have anything for news? Or
I don't other than happy birthday to Kurt Russell, which was yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah. And
it was his birthday on St. Patrick's Day.
So, kind of quick question for you. I threw it out there. I don't see if any, like, Andy responded.
Jack Burton.
What's your favorite Kurt Russell?
Do you like Kurt Russell?
I do, but to be honest, I don't have, like, any special attachment to the guy.
Have you seen The Thing?
Yes. Thing's great.
Jack Burton and McCready, I'm so stuck because they're such completely different people.
No, Jack Burton. Jack Burton is like, and The Thing is my favorite movie of all time. But Jack Burton is just like one of the greatest characters ever created. Big Trouble in Little China.
You're swaying me on that. Like I totally am.
Jack Burton fucking rules.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is pretty good.
Yeah, he's Papa.
He's
just good. He's good at all times.
Kurt Russell,
Sky High.
Oh my
Miracle.
God. Yo, Miracle.
Miracle was hype. I liked Miracle.
Nah,
it was good.
I don't fuck with Miracle.
I haven't seen it in 15 years. But
I remember a whole class went to go see Miracle, and I was not into it.
Okay, I love hockey, but I also haven't seen it in 15 years.
See, I don't know anything about hockey. I watched it, I was so confused.
Yeah.
It's like, so the puck goes what way?
All right, I guess we'll be back with our main feature.
Yeah, we'll be back with our main feature, which is Kyle's pick, Perfect Blue from 1996.
7.
Holy fuck, I thought I was like, I'm nailing it.
pop star.
This is Mima's last performance with Cham.
Who desired to become an actress.
I really hope that I can entertain you just the same as an actress.
But sometimes aspirations can be deadly.
I'm always watching Mima's room.
In the world of make-believe,
This is when Mima proves herself.
the price of fame
Don't worry, Mima, it'll be all right.
may not be worth the cost of identity.
Where did this come from? How do they know so much?
Innocence is lost. Dreams become nightmares. And privacy no longer exists. Where everything you do can be seen by everyone. And those you trust are really those you should fear. Your life no longer belongs to you.
Excuse me, who are you?
Manga Entertainment presents Satoshi Kon's animated psychological thriller, Perfect Blue.
Excuse me, who are you? Excuse me, who are you?
Excuse me, it's Perfect Blue.
Oh,
We are
that was
at our
nice.
main feature of Kyle Zurevinsky's pick, Perfect Blue, which came out in 1997.
Yep, there you
Correct
go. Third
year.
time's the charm.
Directed by Satoshi Kon, who also directed movies like Paprika, Tokyo Godfather. Are you a big fan of his other work? Like,
Paprika and Perfect Blue are really the only two I'm super familiar with.
Okay, 'cause-
Paprika, if anyone's ever seen that, is essentially Inception.
yeah, people are
Yeah.
very into Paprika. I've never seen it. But
Oh, it's not really it's more of a thriller, but definitely more like on the lines of like psychological like elements, a little
Yeah.
like aspects, especially in that movie. Like if you know Inception, most people do.
Yeah.
It's to do with dreams and like the dream world. But yeah, this guy is really he's passed away now. But
So I was
he's
going to say
really-
was, yeah. I
He
just found
was,
out.
and people really look back at his work quite fondly.
yeah, he died of pancreatic cancer at the age of 46. Is what I read. Because I know, like, yeah, we'll get to that, but he has a very wide fan base. Like, people adore his work.
For sure. I mean, he was huge in Japan, like where he's from, and then
Yeah.
obviously like works like Perfect Blue and Paprika, and I think did he do Million Actress or what's that one?
Yes,
called?
he
Yeah.
did.
That one's pretty big too, and like people talk about those a lot. Like
Yeah.
nowadays, especially. I think over time he's got like a lot more notoriety.
Absolutely. Okay, so then the story of Perfect Blue, this is anime, right? I feel
Yes, I think it's anime.
Okay, but that thing, there's so many times I'm like, it's an anime, and people are like, actually, that is not an anime, that is an animated film.
No, man, this is it was made in Japan. It's anime. Let's be honest.
Yeah, well,
Let's break it down to its bare bones
Yeah.
here.
Did you watch that one at the film festival this year, Crisis Young?
No, I didn't see that.
Okay, because I called that an anime, and apparently it's not an anime because it's French. But it looks like an anime, you know what I mean?
And then there's like French animation inspired by
which is-
Japanese animation.
But like that thing is, I'm like, yeah, I know, I don't ever want to be that guy who sounds like a dickhead and is mislabeling something.
I guess
but
people take great pride in like
people,
saying what is and isn't
anime fuckers, anime people who fuck with anime are
Yeah,
diehards.
You don't want to fuck with somebody's niche, though. That's like if somebody came in here and
Exactly.
was like, this is actually a psychological horror, and you're like, nope.
Yeah.
That's
That's
what
a
we
good
would
point.
do.
I
Yeah,
think
it's
that's
a
really
very, very good point. Yeah. But the thing is, like, I grew up, like, we'll get into this a little bit. Before we get into the movie, I want to talk about, like, our experiences with anime, because I was a fucking massive anime fan.
Okay, interesting. Okay, well, I'm excited to hear this thing.
Yeah, I was very, very big in anime when I was younger. I think I dropped off around 17 years old. But like, I was, like, very fucking heavy into it. But starting off with Perfect Blue is that Perfect Blue is the story of a retired pop singer who turned actress. A retired pop singer turned actress's sense of reality is shaken when she is stalked by an obsessed fan and seemingly a ghost of her past.
Man, I love this movie so much.
Like, we're going to talk about it, but why'd you choose this movie?
Well, because I remember the last time I was on here, like we had a similar conversation to like we did today. Like, what is a horror movie? Like, what isn't one? Like, things that have horror elements, stuff like that. And so that really got me thinking. I'm like, okay, well, if I ever come up with these guys again, if they asked me to come on again, like, what would I pick? So I was thinking of like maybe something that someone else wouldn't pick. Like by the time I came on the show, like something that no one else maybe would have.
I love that you picked this.
Would have thought. So
I do too, actually.
I really thought about it. I was like, okay, well, I don't know if this would be their shit, but they would maybe at least like to talk about it. And at the time, I first saw this in 2017, so like 2 years ago, and it blew my fucking mind. I had heard about it for years. Like, I don't know, people mention like best animes, things like that, or whatever. I don't know, top of different lists. And so I finally watched it for the first time, and it fucking blew my mind. It was one of those things where It didn't come out in 2017, obviously, but it was one of the best movies I saw in 2017.
That year, yeah. Absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, like, in terms of anime, for me personally, like, I am an anime fan, but really, I don't have, like, a super long history with it. Like, I don't really, like...
I dropped off hard. Like,
I feel like a lot of us did.
There's, like, select things I'm really into, but at the end of the day, like... I don't know too much about it, to be honest.
But, like, are you a Miyazaki fan? Like,
yeah. Like, Studio Ghibli, I love all that shit.
Like, Princess Mononoke, I would consider in my top 10.
It's so fun.
Like, I love Princess Mononoke.
I love his last movie, The Wind Rises.
It's great.
That movie's awesome. It's really kind of
pretty
slow,
much like
but
all of his movies.
Howl's Moving Castle, that shit.
Howl's Moving Castle's so good.
Spirited Away is probably, like...
Ponyo is also an underrated one, though.
I don't know, man. Ponyo's kind of goofy.
Yeah, but Ponyo, it's a Japanese Little Mermaid.
It is Little Mermaid, yeah. But I think probably most people might know Spirited Away because it won.
Oh yeah, it won everything.
Best animated feature at the.
It had
Oscars.
a lot more crossover than a lot of other things.
Yeah, I remember seeing like DVDs of Spirited Away.
And everyone knows My Neighbor Totoro.
Yeah, but has anyone ever seen it?
I own it.
I own it too.
I own it, and I love that movie.
I haven't seen it in so long. But I bought the Blu-ray.
I say I love it, but I enjoyed it.
Well,
I don't think I'm not gonna.
Parts of it that are like obviously charming. Like
but it's a kids movie.
I would never say it's like my favorite of his.
No, Princess Mononoke, and that's the thing is a lot of people apparently Princess Mononoke isn't a popular pick for that, but that's
really?
Like when I saw it as a kid, like Princess Mononoke, it blew my fucking mind.
To me, that is like it's so good.
It's one of the best like just stories.
When I think of anime, I think of Studio Ghibli because that's probably what I have the most experience in, to be honest.
Yeah, like I used to do that, and I would do like Ninja Scroll, Berserk, and Blood: The Last Vampire was one that I really liked.
So those are
like
things
there's tons of horror shit.
I've heard of those things, but I've never seen it.
Vampire Hunter D. There's a Van Helsing one. Like there's some good horror stuff out there, but I just haven't fucked with it in a long time.
What about Death Note? Any Death Note fans?
I keep getting told over and over I need to watch it.
I became a Death Note fan after the Adam Wingard movie that everybody hated.
I haven't watched that yet.
I liked it. Like
I need to watch it. To be honest, I saw the trailer and I'm like, I don't know. If
I get people not liking it. I totally understand.
Like
but I liked it, and I went back to the anime.
Like, as much as I'm not really, like, an expert in anime, like, the one fucking show that I'll stand by for the rest of my life is Death Note. Because I think that show is so fucking great. It's amazing.
And I think that the live-action one improves on some things. And I know that I could get killed for that.
Well, I'll have to watch it and we can talk about it.
No, I guarantee you'll disagree with me. But
well, I don't know. For me, that was the only time, at least because I watched it and I was probably, like, 12 or 13 when Death Note, like, kind of was first coming out. That's when I was like, oh, like... This isn't just like explosion and boobs. This could be like other things. Like this is like.
Let's not get this fucking twisted though. Like those are both great things.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, of course. But you know, growing up, that's what you expect anime to be. But then you see something like that, and you think to yourself, like, "Oh, this is like a good story."
Just quickly, the thing that it improves on to me is that Light is instantly a psychopath in the anime.
Right.
And and I know it's interesting, but I like the fact that he kind of like. I saw the
in the movie he grows to be a okay.
And sorry, we're talking about Perfect Blue. We're talking about Perfect Blue.
This is all context for today. It's fine.
I hadn't seen this film, and it's been a long time since I've watched a new anime. So
yeah. I think the only ones that could stand out to me recently in the past like 5 years is a really good series called Erased. I wrote this down because I thought this question would come up. I would check out Erased. It's a really, really good series. I don't know how I hate to admit this. I think Chris Stuckman told me to watch it.
Yeah. I get that you don't like him. I still watch all of his shit too.
I don't know. Like, it's really like
He loves anime.
I hate to love the guy, basically. Like, I just like I want to hate him, but I love the guy.
The problem is that I hate him because I see a lot of myself in him. I fucking hate myself.
That's fair. I could understand that. I don't know. Anyways, he did like a little episode or whatever, a video on that show that me and my girlfriend watched it, and I would highly recommend that. That is really good. And the other one I'll mention is a movie called Your Name, which is a really, really good.
That was his favorite the one year.
Yeah, it's
Your Name Here, isn't it?
I think it's just Your Name. I'm pretty sure that movie is really, really good. But like, beyond that, like, anime isn't super huge.
It's Your Name. Yeah, you were right.
In my life, but when I saw Perfect Blue, I thought to myself, like, maybe I should check out more of this shit because this is so far up my alley. I couldn't even, because like parts of it are very like, I don't know, surreal and abstract, but then other times just like really good story writing. And I don't know, I guess we can just get into it now. Like, what did you guys generally think about the film?
Do you want to go first?
Me?
Yeah.
Sure. So I watched this with my girlfriend, number one. So that kind of skewed a little bit of how I felt like with this because she would actively go over and skip ahead a little bit of certain scenes. I don't mean this in a bad way. There were certain things that were very heavy. The content of what we were watching was very heavy.
Okay.
So it wasn't like we
just want to say, let's spoil this motherfucker. It's 20 years old.
Yeah.
And I think that this is one of those movies that if it's spoiled for you a little bit, if you listen to this and you go and watch it, I still think that you're going to enjoy it, or there's going to be something for you there, because the thing is, what I think you're about to get at too is that there is so much to digest here.
Yeah.
So I think it actually might help listening to this conversation than going to it. Also, our friends in Erie International did an episode on Perfect Blue. I think it was 40 some episodes ago. Episodes. Jesus. But they did an episode on this, and I've been meaning to watch it ever since. And Kyle gave us take it away, Buzi.
Okay. Anyway, I guess if I wanted to get into the spoiler of what we had to skip across a couple of graphic rape scenes. Not a skip the whole way through. It was just like 10 seconds just to
they were going on a little too long.
Yeah, they were hanging on it a little too much.
Well, that 10 seconds lasts a while.
It does. So it's not that I didn't see the entire scene. It would just be I'd kind of see like, and I got the gist of it. I don't need to go back and see every single fragment of what was going on.
And it's kind of weird if you just go back and watch the rape scenes, let's be honest.
Yeah. It's kind of what?
It's kind of weird if you just go back and just watch the rape scenes.
You guys didn't
Hold on, dear. I have to go watch this. But anyway, yeah.
In the bathroom, just fucking looking it up.
So that kind of
rape.
That threw me off a little bit with it, just because I'm not used to somebody else moving around the cursor or anything when I'm watching a movie. Anyway, there are a lot of things I like about this movie. Obviously, the subject matter is really heavy, so at certain points, it did take me out of it a little bit. Not in a way where I wanted to turn it off, where it was doing such a good job that it made me want to cringe, which is always a good thing to get out of your audience, is a reaction, and not a reaction just because of something being gross, but because they've sold you this character and what you're seeing, so that it brings more levity. You're invested. Yeah, you're feeling with that character. So levity of it is a little bit different than if I was just like, whatever, this scene's happening. So overall, and then towards the end, I feel like kind of an idiot, I had to go and double check online after, is this what I thought?
I don't think you're an idiot for having to do that.
I don't think so either.
Okay, because I like, it wasn't a thing where I didn't see everything. I was seeing everything that was going on. You're seeing the reflections and all that stuff, and I'm going, okay, what am I being sold here versus what should I take out of it? And I realized
it's a cerebral movie.
And then after I realized is that any way you take it is the right way to take it, because there's so much going on.
Like, there's very abstract ideas happening.
Exactly.
So it's not like there's one right or wrong answer to a lot of these things. Clearly, there's like a plot and there's characters and there's events that take place. But beyond that, I feel like it's open to interpretation.
And that is a big part of it, which I realized is that there's so much interpretation in it, is that I don't have to feel like an idiot that I would go, okay, why is this happening? Because you're supposed to feel that way.
Yeah. And I think those reasons alone are why I like this movie, because you know, with the medium we're talking about, anime, like, I primarily don't see things like that in anime.
Exactly.
Or the
you kind of, when you think of anime, you expect more fluffy,
like,
goofy shit,
just crazy shit happening, which
big titty goth girls and shit,
which, like, crazy shit does happen in this movie, obviously, but it's handled in a much more mature kind of, I don't know, like,
it skates on this line of being so real that you're like, I can see this in a real live action movie, and I could see this happening on a corner.
See, I agree. I feel, but what's really good about him, and also like this film and a lot of his other films, is they feel like they could easily be adapted into a live action film, but at the same time, they're almost best being anime, because the weird shit, the wacky shit, or the really intense scenes like you're talking about, they feel like they belong in this way because they're more digestible.
Yeah.
Because if I was going to see like a rape scene in a live action film, I'm going to view that in a completely different way than I am on
I think they did a pretty good job of making that scene pretty uncomfortable too. Like, did, like, but like, it's kind of like you think about the remake of Last House on the Left, or even the original Last House on the Left. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but
I've seen
like
the remake, sadly.
Yeah, the remake's great.
Yeah,
I really like that movie, but like that rape scene is fucking hard to watch. Like
100%.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is that you can kind of, because we don't usually step into this medium of anything that isn't like live action, visual, that sort of thing, is that it's a testament to this film that even when you're watching it as that, and you can kind of gauge as like, okay, I'm not usually watching this sort of style of film, is that you're still feeling all the same things. Even if though these aren't real people you're seeing on screen, you're feeling like they're real.
Well, yeah, because up until the point, like, we're talking about a particular scene, which is maybe, 20, 25 minutes into the movie, up until that point, you've already been sold on the characters, the world, what they're all about. Like, you're not missing any information.
And they're not. It's weird is that it's kind of an overtop the story, but at the same time you can pump along with it and go, yeah, this is something that could happen, and that's what I keep relating back to.
Right.
Is you're looking at the same sort of thing where it's this crazy, pop star who's trying to make it big in something else, trying to define themselves. And so you're finding. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. It's just with the story aspect of that is you're hitting on all these kind of lines that make up for a good film, where you're going, okay, this is your hero's plot. This is where they're going, and you can follow along without going, this is an anime. You look at it subjectively as what you're watching.
And I think that is something, because reading interviews he's done and stuff, he's always been he was one person who really wanted to sort of tarnish the idea of anime is just for kids, or it's just
he wants to bridge that gap.
Yeah, he wanted to make something a bit more mature or for adults. And when you're talking about plot, even within the plot, when these sort of disturbing scenes come about, they kind of seem out of nowhere, but then they just start happening and they don't stop. And they keep going, and then you're like, oh, there's a couple different elements in this movie.
Yeah, and no matter what you're being sold on that, you take it. You don't go, this is too out there. This shouldn't be happening. Every time something like that happens, you feel like, not that it's justified, but that it's feasible within this reality that they're giving you. So overall, I think I really did enjoy it. Obviously, because of how strong the subject matter is this something I'm going to go back and watch again anytime soon? Probably not. Would I watch this movie again? Yeah, because there is so much good stuff in here, and it really does feel at times like a slasher film. It really has high tension aspects to it. There are so many different things going on here and so many different levels that it's really fun to decipher amongst those levels.
Right. And do you think it you guys are obviously experts in this situation, but do you think it fits into the horror canon at all?
100%. 100%. I can see, not just because of subject matter, but kind of also how they're put out. Is you look at movies like Starry Eyes, or what is the other one that's like Starry Eyes?
There's so many things that being compared to this.
I know, that just came out. I watched it a while ago. I'll have to. Neon Demon.
Is
the other one, yeah.
Okay.
Where I'm
my god! I never even thought of that movie. That is so related to this
film.
film.
and it's because not only they have similar subject matter, but it's also how they go about everything. It's not so straightforward. That I feel like these movies all tie in together. And Starry Eyes and Neon Demon are two fantastic films that did come out after this film, but I feel like can all fit in that same group. So that's not only a testament to those movies that are newer being good at what they do, but also this movie from 1997 not feeling outdated, which is a big part of this is it doesn't feel outdated.
I want to get into that later. And I think another thing we'll get into probably is sort of how everyone's been ripping this guy off ever since this movie came out.
Yeah, okay.
But maybe we'll let Mitch.
So, that's pretty much all I had to go with on. I enjoyed a lot of it. Obviously, there's certain hard stuff in this, but at the core of it, there are some really good things here.
And over here?
Masterpiece. Masterpiece.
Right?
I fucking loved this movie.
I'm so happy to hear that.
20 years ahead of its time.
Right? Exactly.
This is my first time watching this movie, and I fucking loved it so much.
I was kind of nervous, to be honest. I'm happy to hear you enjoyed it, but I was like, because I know Mitch is a little bit better, and I was like, will this be his shit? I don't know.
This is extremely my shit.
Great.
So I'm the kind of guy who just jacks off to Darren Aronofsky. I love Darren Aronofsky, and he owns.
Mother's a light watch, a light Sunday.
I love Mother. I like all of his movies. I even like The Fountain, which I find to be the hardest of his movies.
I haven't seen that yet.
It's fucking insane. But so I love Darren Aronofsky. I love the idea of challenging your audience, that they're not going to give you everything that you want. I love the idea that they're, like you guys both said, that there are so many different ways you can interpret this movie. I love being able to think about it hours after you finish it.
Right.
And this is one of the best movies I've seen in that way. And I think I can understand now, as a huge Darren Aronofsky fan, I've always known that he's a huge fan of this movie. He owns the American film rights to this movie.
Yes, he does.
Because he does not rip it off. He pays homage. And I think that this is a prime example of the difference between paying homage. Whoa, I just nerd gasped there.
You're so good.
No, in Requiem for a Dream, he completely recreates one of the scenes.
Exactly.
There's one scene that is the bathtub scene. He actually, you can even see the shampoo bottles are lined up the same way that they are. The shot is the same.
I saved the photo. Someone posted a shot by shot comparison of it.
Exactly. It's the exact same. And he bought it and he said, he's like, I'm buying it so that I can use it here. Like he wanted to. This isn't
Which
like
in that case, that's totally.
That's
reasonable.
not ripping it off.
Yeah.
That's not ripping it off. That's paying him. Paying how much?
That honestly is the ultimate compliment.
It is. It 100%. Is the. And he also says it's one of his favorite films. And also, if you look at movies like Black Swan, which I love, this movie is almost exactly the same as Black Swan.
And there's a couple like frames from this film that are very similar to Black Swan.
Yeah. So like those
maybe not as exact, but
yeah. And I think Black Swan is like 10 million miles ahead of Requiem for a Dream. Like I love Requiem for a Dream, but I also think it's one of the most.
I'm happy you say that because I'm with you. Like I think Requiem for a Dream is a little overrated.
It's extremely overrated.
I'm not trying to like.
It is.
It's the soundtrack, dude. That just takes to a whole nother level.
It's not only that. It's just
a great movie.
It's like, of course, it's like that's the thing. I love that. I still like that movie, but the thing is, like that is like the epitome of film douche.
It's true
because it's like
Black Swan's a bit like it's maybe a bit more accessible in parts, but it's also just more refined. It just
people like, would think differently because it like Black Swan is very artsy, but the thing is like Requiem for a Dream is like so just like, and I fall asleep to that movie. There are people who say like I will watch a movie once and never watch it again. Like I can fall asleep to it. Like it's a great movie, but it's just like it's very beginning of his career, heavy-handed. Like I want to crush my audience.
Totally.
Whereas Black Swan, he understands the craft of how to do it and how to get there.
Yeah, like he took time to refine.
Exactly. Like Requiem, it's like
of
course this is devastating. Like it's of course Requiem for a Dream is devastating.
It is kind of hard to rewatch that movie.
Yeah, like I don't mean to be saying anything negative about like I love the guy, but like I love his films and I love being able to think about a movie. Like that's my favorite. That's why I'm obsessed with this stuff. Why I love these movies. Why I love movies is I love thinking about them and talking about them afterwards. And the moment I finished Perfect Blue, I was so excited to talk to you guys. And that was a week ago.
Oh God!
I watched it twice. So I watched the movie twice in 1 week, and it's because I feel like there is so much to grasp onto. But most importantly, I find like the best thing about it is that I'm watching in 2019, and it's like this movie should have been made yesterday.
Exactly. That's it, man. I'm so happy you said that. That's the exact same thought I had. I remember feeling that way to a T. Like, how did someone make a movie so far ahead of its time that
it's so insanely far ahead of its time? Like, some of the
script is obviously a little bit dated, like talking about like how the internet first got started. Like, clearly that's a little dated, but beyond that, the actual themes behind it.
But the fact that they predicted where the internet was going to go,
and the way
the way people are going to react to it,
Twitch and live streaming, just keeping your life online in different ways.
Thinking about online identities, like in the modern world, is a huge theme in this movie.
Completely.
And like this came out in 1997.
Yeah. So now, we weren't even thinking about this shit in 2006.
Yeah.
To be honest, most people were not.
In 2006, I was posting photos of myself in a mirror to MySpace.
Exactly. And is this
Mandy swoops?
Is this a horror movie? 100% it's a horror movie. I think one of the scariest things in the modern world is how deceiving people can be.
Right.
And I think that this movie as a whole, like there are so many layers to this movie, and one of them is people being deceiving and people perceiving people to be completely different than they actually are. And that's why, like, I know that this may be a tired conversation, but I think that everyone can agree that think about the most successful and happy person that you know. Do they post on Facebook about how successful and happy they are? They don't.
No.
The ones who do that, are in, like, when I look at an Instagram and I see 95% selfies, I just think that person is in complete agony. Like, that's
dude, you're taking me down such a rabbit hole of it's like all these people who go on these big tangents of like self-love and stuff. It's like, why don't you post other things you love instead of trying
to fucking hate yourself so much?
Instead of trying to self-validate yourself constantly.
Exactly. And the whole inspiring people and everything, I'm like, yeah, I get that, but also you're lying. Like, there's no fucking human on earth.
You have to think about the platform they're using and like the way they want to say these things. It's clearly like curated in a way.
Well, yeah, exactly. As you're trying to format like, this is because I don't have this or this, I'm going to create that appeal or version of myself online. And the thing is that, what you're talking about, can be a completely different tangent, but it's that whole thing is like, look at people who just post about themselves constantly and they don't post about like other things they enjoy. Like, dude, post a picture of a dog. You like dogs. Like, quit trying to validate yourself over and over and over.
That's so true. It's to show their haters how happy they are. It's like no matter what.
Yeah, if I can scroll through someone's whole feed and all it is pictures of themselves doing things, and it's not even in a fun way. It's just here's a picture of myself standing in front of a mirror. It's like, how often do you have to validate yourself?
Exactly.
Well, and the strangest thing from this film, or not strange, but like scariest almost, is like how our main character doesn't really realize the online identity that she has.
Exactly. She doesn't realize that the way people see her.
Yes, she's more
extremely naive.
She's very aware of sort of how people in person perceive her, and she also is aware of how like her onstage persona she has, and how people in the media think they know her, but they don't really know her. She understands that concept, but when it's sort of like this internet aspect, or the idea of someone believing they know who she is, but actually has no idea who she really is, when that aspect crumbles into her life, toppled on with like psychological trauma, this film goes into so many different directions.
Because somebody's manipulating your point of view is that, you're supposed to be this way because you've manufactured it. When somebody else is altering that, it fucks you up.
And it's a really good commentary on like how maybe the record industry was, or the media industry was at that time. And Satoshi Kon, analyzing that to such a great degree that he could essentially predict how everything else would be in the future.
He really predicted so much, and that's the thing is, I don't know if even the synopsis at the beginning really told us, but like how so our main character Mima, who like also Nina, Black Swan, like that's her name.
How dare you?
But
call that shit.
But the worst part about that, I'm sorry to hate on Darren right now, but are
you guys on a first name basis now?
Of course.
Yeah, me and D.
me and DA. Diego. What's up, man? He will go to bat saying that he bought the rights to Perfect Blue, and he paid homage to it, but he denies any similarities in Perfect Blue to Black Swan.
See, I didn't know that, and that bums me out.
I know, it's too bad. I know that's a little like, okay,
because there are so many fucking similarities in it.
There are beyond like similar shots, but like the themes are so similar.
The themes are very similar. But the thing is that, and I'm happy you brought that up, because the main theme, okay, so this character is a pop singer, she's a pop star, but then her management and everyone they convince her to take the route of acting. And then so like how that fucks up someone's perception of her as a super fan of her pop career.
And super glossy. Like I look at this a lot of ways. You look at even like early Britney Spears when she first came in. Very glossy, very girl next door, very like everything's perfect, and then
she does a different album which is a bit more risque.
I have so many like there's so many like comparisons to this, because like there's how she didn't, the only difference is that she didn't want this, but then she fully embraced it. Like she didn't want to change into an actress, but once she changes into an actress, she decides, well, she may as well go all out, and she wants to distance herself from the idea of like she's not innocent anymore. How many times have we seen that in the real world? Since like post this, like Miley Cyrus, like it.
Whoa.
Just wait, we're getting a Ted Bundy movie starring the guy from High School Musical this year.
It's true.
And
look at Spring Breakers, right?
All of them are Disney actresses. Harry Potter, but like Daniel Radcliffe went out into horns. He's literally playing someone who has Satan's horns.
Well, even the guy who did My Friend Dahmer, everybody's going, this guy's from the Disney Channel.
Exactly.
And if you want to take the most classic example, is like Christina Aguilera all of a sudden
in the Dirty music video. I have that written down.
It's like I wrote down X-Tina.
Did you actually?
Yes.
We all wrote down in our notes Christina Aguilera and Dirty.
Because you were like, who's this new bitch?
Yeah. Just wait until my clothes come.
This ain't your daddy's Christina.
Yeah.
Jesus. Well, you're completely right. I mean, people love the idea. This relates a lot to it, like the idea of like a fallen idol. Like you think you have control over their career, who they are as people, and in this movie, like you're saying, she's aware of who she is, and she's aware that her management thinks other of her, like she should do something else. She follows them somewhat blindly, but she thinks it's for the better of.
Yeah, she thinks she's in good hands the whole time.
Exactly.
We know where we're going.
And what's really, really interesting about this film is it's not like the management is the most evil people either. Like they're very aware of what they're doing, and they do bad things, and they put her into bad situations, but at the same time, they're also like a decent support system for her. And when she's put into compromised situations, they don't know how to feel either. They think it's almost out of their hands.
Yeah, and that's the point. Is it's not so black and white. You're seeing how real people would be.
Like her manager, like her male manager or whatever. When he sees her in like that rape scene, he's distraught. Also.
He told her not to do too.
Yeah,
and like that's where she makes her like stance where she's like, no, I want to distance myself from this like innocence. Like,
and in that particular thing that I never noticed until the last time I watched it, when they said the line of, because there's always this part in the film where it bridges the line between the role she plays in the TV series and the role she plays in real life. Yeah. And sometimes they'll be showing a scene from the show that it's called Blind. I wrote it down somewhere. Double blind. Double bind, sorry.
Double bind. I always kept thinking double team with Dennis Rodman.
All right.
Van Damme.
Good old double team.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in this TV show, and they'll like be showing a scene of the film or the show, and then you think that maybe it's in real life, but then it's not, and then vice versa. So really, like, you know, it blurs the lines between real life and this show.
Yeah, it makes you as a viewer go, I don't know where she sits either.
But one particular line they say is, okay, and then your character now, after she's in this rape scene, her character will be changed forever. And when the actual actress plays into this rape scene, the whole movie delves into a different zone. Mm-hmm. Her life is changed forever. So it's really sort of this idea of mirroring who you are as a person and mirroring who you are in the media or who you want to be perceived as. And there's so many different connections in this film we can make about that.
Exactly. There's so many different layers to it. Like, it's like becoming by posing as something artificial, you're becoming real. And like and
how do you differentiate from that when it goes overboard?
And another movie that you guys didn't mention, because I know Buzi hasn't seen it, but I'm not sure if you ended up seeing it, but Cam.
No, I
Cam takes it directly from this movie.
Interesting.
Like, there's the whole, when she goes to the website that has her on it.
Okay.
That's the synopsis of Cam.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And that's like, and I thought that was, I was like, wow, that's fucking ground. Like, while I was watching Cam, I was like, that's something really original. I've never seen that before. 1997 Perfect Blue.
It's crazy, yeah, because like in this film, like she, the main character, she discovers she has like a fan page about her. It's her first time ever using a computer, which is kind of a funny scene.
That whole thing I was gonna say is the one thing out of this whole movie that dates it really hard.
It does date it. You're completely right.
Just like explain the internet to somebody, and granted, I understand where they were at that time. You can't look back at it. Yeah, you can't go back at it and look. It's like when you watch a movie where someone has to explain to someone how to use a VCR or a DVD player. Or when you just give it to them. That, like,
exactly.
That's their first interpretation.
I wrote down this 1997 when mentioning a mini disc was a normal thing.
Yeah, it's true.
So there's a few lines that are obviously dated, but I feel like the
main message. Yeah,
the message is so strong in this film that it just glosses over all that.
Exactly. And I think the main theme, and this is the last time I'll connect it to Darren Aronofsky, but the main theme in this movie is obsession.
Oh, 100%.
And every single one of Darren Aronofsky's movies relates to obsession. Like, there's an obsession of some kind with, like, Black Swan, she's obsessed with a career and, like, being a dancer and being the best. The Wrestler, He Will Not Leave, which is debatably his best movie. And then Requiem for a Dream, they're addicted to, like, these drugs.
Yeah.
There's, like, the
Mother.
Mother. Like, there's literally every single movie that he makes is about obsession.
An obsession, like,
and
not being able to stop something, like having something take over you, and eventually feeding into that, and then realizing, okay, where do I differentiate from these two different things happening to me?
Yeah.
And we see so many different good examples of that in this movie. I don't know.
This
shit's so good.
My favorite. Okay, so here's the thing: is like, I'm one of those guys who, like, I will be like, if I watch a movie and something happens where I'm like, how do I not sound like a complete? Like, I will be a dickhead here, but I will get a boner over a shot. Like, over a shot of a movie where I'm like, oh my god, that is so perfect. Like, when everything is...
Dude, that's not a bad thing to say. I've done that tons of times. I will stop a movie and just look at what the still of what I'm seeing.
There is one of the best stills in this movie that I've ever seen. And it's of, like, the crazed...
when the string's in the middle?
No, okay. That's great too.
I love that one.
No, but when is his name Me-Mania?
Yeah,
like
Me-Mania.
Yeah, Me-Mania.
Holding her in his hand?
When he's holding her in his hand. God, when he's looking at her and she's dancing in his hand, I'm like, that is one of the most, like, that sums up the entire movie.
And I think another big thing in this film is, like, control. Like, the lack of control, and maybe the...
over control. Yeah.
The being over controlled. Where she's this character, she's almost kind of this blank slate in a way. Like, one thing I'll side tangent. One thing I love about this movie is the fact that, like, you kind of discover that their pop group isn't even that popular.
Yeah, it's very niche.
It's very niche. They're called what? Chan?
Charm or Chan?
Yeah. Which I thought they were that instrumental band Chan.
I was actually gonna say again. When you guys watched yours, was yours dubbed or just subtitled?
Good question. First time I saw this, it was dubbed with like English dub or whatever. But I wanted to watch it with subversion because I've never seen it before. And it took me a while to hunt it down, but I finally did.
Yeah, I watched mine with subtitles. I don't know if you did as well.
No, on iTunes it's dubbed.
Oh, okay. I watched mine with subtitles, and it's really fun when Chan comes on, is because
the music, right?
Yeah. So I actually would sing along with the words, and the words are nonsense if you say them out loud. Like for them, they're formulating in a way where it is that pop music thing where they could say fart poop over and over and over.
Like, I wear jeans. I don't want to wear my suit jacket today.
I was literally reading those lines. Like, I don't want to wear my jacket today. And it was just like, you realize is that it's this filtered bullshit, but people love it because of how it's presented.
And I think it's like, I remember going to maybe like, I remember going to Disneyland once when I was a kid, and I remember there being like live performances of just like
it looks like that.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like that. It's like the most generic boy band or girl group. I don't even know.
You're in that little like half bowl cement thing, and everybody's sitting there staring at the screen.
Even just the people on the streets.
They must be famous. This is very cool.
Yeah. They're on a slightly higher pedestal than where I am sitting.
Yeah, and so in a way, that's my only real connection to like what this is, because I think it's funny that they have fans and a fan base of people who really care about them, and obviously people who care about them a little too much.
Yeah.
Yet their biggest single was on number 85 of the Hot 100. Which
exactly.
I think is so amazing.
Everyone has a huge fan. Do you guys know about the Bjork stalker?
No.
Ricardo Lopez. Do you know about him?
I like how you know his name.
Yeah, well, I found it up. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. I was looking up this movie but that's the thing is,
you just gave him secondary fame.
He
has secondary fame.
I don't care.
I don't mean you just did it, but like in general, this guy has secondary fame. But like, what's your thing in life? People know me as the guy who's obsessed with.
Well, he's dead now.
Well, yeah,
I'll finish the story. It's gonna go in a dark way. But that's the thing is, like, that's why, as much as like I get it that it's a pretentious film douche thing to be obsessed with Aronofsky, but every time I've ever watched an Aronofsky movie, I go into like deep in like,
you look it up.
What are the different like ways people are perceiving this?
I mean, hear me out. I feel like that's not really a douche thing. I feel like I do that with any movie I love.
Yeah,
I want to know more about the movie. I want to know what the director was thinking while he was making it.
Exactly, and that's the thing is, like, I'm not sure how you feel about this, but like a lot of people wouldn't even give Noah a chance. And I fucking love Noah.
Noah to me is not maybe not a great film, but there's aspects of it that I really love.
There's so much good shit in that movie.
When it gets wacky, that's when I love Noah.
It turns into The Shining.
Yeah,
it really turns into The Shining.
When those like rock monsters show up, that's when I'm like,
it's ridiculous.
Okay, well, all right, I'm sold now.
I love it. Like everyone's like, I don't want to watch a religious movie. I'm like, he's literally peeing on religion here. Like he's peeing on this story of
anything. There's probably other things in this movie that you won't like other than the religion. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
I thought you were about to say that's so Darren. That's such a Darren.
Yeah, that's such a D thing to do. No, okay, so but while I fell down the rabbit hole of Perfect Blue, I discovered Ricardo Lopez, and I remember hearing about this on like a subreddit a long time ago, but I never like realized that this happened during the filming of Perfect Blue. So this wasn't even like the movie hadn't even been out yet.
Keep in mind, animation probably started in production years before.
Yeah, it could have. But Ricardo Lopez,
even more impressive. Honestly.
He videotaped himself. Being pissed and he was pissed to realize that Bjork's personal life and relationships didn't align to his depiction of her professional personality that he was obsessed with. He created an elaborate plan to send her a bomb that was rigged with sulfuric acid. He wanted to kill her and then kill himself so that he could be with her in the afterlife. And this guy, you can find his videos on YouTube, and it's haunting. It is fucking gross. Like, I don't recommend. I'm just telling you that because I know we got a lot of sick,
and it's real.
We got a lot of sick motherfuckers listening to this, but like it takes
Bjork out of all people.
Yeah, Bjork, and well, this was in the 90s, so like it was.
Dude, why are you laughing at that? Like, I'm about to do that with Amanda Marshall.
Oh my
god, Canadian icon.
Yeah, like. Low-key, I'm about to do that with Teresa Sakarica.
What's Caitlin Porter up to right now?
We gotta find her obsession.
Yeah. No, but like that to me is just, and it's crazy. But like this guy, like he deforms himself while he's obsessed with her, and like there's so many times in Perfect Blue that you can.
Yeah.
Draw a comparison there.
But I think the interesting thing is that not only is like you have your one character. I'm not even going to try to pronounce names because I'm
Bjork?
Western. No, Bjork. We're going back to Perfect Blue.
KYLE ZUREVINSKI.
Zurevinsky.
I know it's a tough one. It's a Polish.
Mr.
That's a Polish
Zurevinsky.
name.
It's Ukrainian.
Ukrainian.
It's long.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, so going on for that is it's interesting is that you're seeing that dynamic of people making themselves a pedestal of what they expect to be versus you have this other person who's obsessed with a version of a person, so they put that person on a pedestal and they protect it to an extreme fault, where this person's protecting this image of what our main character is supposed to be to the point where he's committing crimes and going on from there. And it's really interesting to watch, like you, especially that scene you're watching where he takes all those newspapers or the magazines that have her posing nude in.
Yeah.
He wants to protect a thought in his mind. He doesn't
Exactly.
He's protecting his own shrine of a version of this person that isn't true. No person is ever that glossy, and he's attached himself to that glossiness.
And he does that too by like creating this blog. I guess I'd call it a blog, but at the time it probably wasn't called a blog, where he would write under her name, essentially posing as her.
And
like,
what he wants her to project herself as.
Exactly. His vision of her, like how he feels she should be
Yeah,
acting.
well, the real her has gone down this completely opposite route, and he can't stand it.
And it causes chaos and conflict between our actual main character when the things he's writing about are very accurate to her real day life.
This is just an ongoing cycle that we are never going to break out of, because you guys are literally just describing Star Wars fans. Like it's and I'm one of them. But like Ghostbusters, like these are all the guys being like, not my Ghostbusters.
It's true though. You're right. Yeah. And I mean, obviously, this is like an extreme version of that, where this guy is going in and killing people. But I mean, it is really looking into that idea of like a toxic fandom, and when fans take things a little too seriously and can't disassociate real life with the art or whatever they're a fan of. And this is clearly like an exaggerated version of that. But again, watching this now is really interesting because we have such knowledge of all these things, like crazy fandoms.
We're aware of it, but at the same time, we continuously embrace it over and over and over.
That's true, but along with that, or even like you're talking about stalkers or people who like we have these ideas of like how fame can go too far. But when this movie came out in 1997, do you think that really like got across as well?
I don't think so.
I think
not. Hey,
like if you're looking at that time frame, because
it wasn't like there was hardcore fandom going on, but the thing is, there wasn't the veil of the internet. There.
Like the way to connect was not.
Yeah, it wasn't so easy to be a psycho.
You're sending mail.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing is like you're at a point now because there'll never be like true icons anymore because you can connect with a lot of these people. You can have a respond tweet, you can have a like, you can DM people, and at that time you couldn't. There was that still that wall of you couldn't connect to these people.
No one is out of touch entirely. Like,
exactly.
Obviously, like Ariana Grande is not going to message me back, but you know what I mean.
But that's the thing is, if
you keep trying.
If I keep trying, she just might.
But you're falling into that rabbit hole of like, okay, I know so and so who's friends with so and so who knows Ariana Grande through this or that. If we're using that example, it's like there's always a way to kind of connect.
You're right.
So you're always
7 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, but you're always hitting on the fringes of like so-and-so knows so-and-so, and that means by proxy that you've kind of met so-and-so.
And that's only really been more elaborated since the internet has been more and more prevalent, or social media, or however
you say it. Obviously they're starting with that veil in this movie. It hasn't hit that aspect.
And that's what's even more crazy is because you think like this film would be more about like something like social media, but it's actually not at all. Which is what makes it
was predicting.
Which is also makes it more horrifying, honestly, because it's like he's aware. He was very aware of how this aspect of interacting and how this aspect of like fan culture could go, and sadly he predicted it. Totally. I don't think he meant to, but he was aware of where it could go.
well ahead of the curve.
If you want to like shift from that a little bit, just to kind of get towards, I guess, more of the ending. I don't know if you guys have a time for the middle. If we could just skip to the ending.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, if you guys have some closing thoughts, because you guys have pretty much like what we've just done has described why I consider this a perfect movie, and I know that
perfect blue movie.
Yeah, but this is gonna be one of those times where if our listeners haven't seen this movie, they're gonna watch it and they'll probably be like, okay, Mitch overhyped it, whatever. Well, okay. But it's like I'm not overhyping it for anybody else, but for myself, this is the kind of thing that gets me excited. This is the kind of thing, like, we just had a great conversation about this. I feel like we could go for another 2 hours.
It's true.
Not going to, but that's why I love this movie, and that's why I love movies. Is this movie tapped into something that I can dissect it for fucking hours, and that's why I think that it's perfect. It's not going to be for everybody, but I do encourage people to watch it, and I encourage you to like not just turn it away from your life once the credits are done. Think about it for a bit after.
And I think it's a movie that will make you think that way. I think you'd have to be really inept to not have some like afterthought about this film, or at least like ponder. Maybe you're at work the next day thinking about this film to some degree, or a theme you saw in it. And like I said, like I saw this movie like 2 years ago, and it was my favorite movie I watched in 2017.
Yeah. And I guess
it's had that impact on me.
Yeah, and the one way I kind of want to just reach back towards where like the horror aspects of it is, because we've been talking about all the deeper meanings of this, is at the base of it you have, which is something so terrifying to me, is you have somebody who is attacking people with a screwdriver.
Yeah,
which
brutal screwdriver.
Yeah,
the screwdriver to the dick is.
It just feels so well thought out that it's a screwdriver. It could have been any object, but the fact that it's a screwdriver, it's something that's so accessible.
It seems like something like a stalker would use.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so this is when bad things happen. When I come to one of these realizations. But the thing is, like, Buzi, you got to realize that we've now been probably talking about this movie for half an hour, and we have not brought up anime titties once. That shows how good this fucking movie is. Is that's not one of the first things.
I was going to make a joke about how, like, you know, there's the animators where they're doing the resume thing, and the guy just comes in and he's like, "So can you draw a bush?"
There is bush in this film.
There's bush, there's titties.
There's a lot, and they don't even linger on it, too. It's quick shots, but it's enough that it keeps imprinting in your brain. It's kind of like that Rorschach system.
The actual bush shot is like that, to be honest, where it is sort of this like quick frame, like quick second, and it's sort of just initiating these ideas of like lust, perfect beauty, like just harkening back to these ideas of how we perceive ourselves in the media.
This is the shit that they would show monkeys to drive them insane, is clips of violence and sex over and over and over and over.
It's like, okay, this is what you want to see. This is who you are. This is what you should be. This is what you want to be. It's like,
here's some bush.
Recreating these ideas in your mind over and over and over again. And honestly, that like shot composition of those like flash frames is very Darren Aronofsky, actually.
Well, because what it does is it entwines sexual lust.
Constantly flickering.
It combines sexual lust with violence, and then if that's a dangerous combination when you have those consecutively going into each other, and that's what it's doing, is it's showing you blah 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 blah. So you're associating these.
And one of the hardest scenes, and like really realistic scenes too, is right before the first like rape scene. Is one of the actors this woman is working with, he whispers to her like, "I'm really sorry."
Yeah, because it's awkward for him too.
It's awkward. He like no one wants to be that guy who is an actor.
Rapist number one to the stage.
Exactly. Like, how fucked up is that? Like, no one wants to do that, but it's whatever. I mean,
that'd be the world's worst method actor.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh my god.
100%.
Okay, so let's talk about the ending of this film quickly before we finish our ending of this.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So Mitch, Kyle, somebody.
I don't know. I feel like I pretty much touched on everything.
How did you feel about the ending as it was happening, though? You're having your main character chased down, and you're getting these glimpses of mirrors versus reality versus what she's seeing.
It's one of the best scenes in the film. Honestly.
It is
best like minute or two.
But like, I feel like as much as I praise this movie, I'd be lying if I said that I totally got it. Like, I feel like because she says to the mirror that I'm the real one. I'm
interesting, because I mean, maybe I'm just not as smart as this guy, but I feel like the first time I saw it, there was definitely questions that I had.
No, that's what I meant.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't know. Like, I didn't feel like I had answers to everything. And the thing is, I'm also okay with that. I like that more.
That was one thing I thought about on the like driving here. I thought about that. I'm like,
I didn't fully get it.
What I like about Perfect Blue is like the story is laid out. It's a little clear, but also there's parts that are pretty ambiguous.
It's so open for interpretation, and
that's fine, because
that's
I think
my favorite part about it.
I think what's interesting is if we were to watch this in 1997, we probably would have got it even less.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, I was 5. So.
Well, that's a good point. But if we were in our 20s in 1997 watch this, we probably wouldn't really understand like sort of the
internet can't do that.
Well, how heavy it is.
How heavy or serious the levity of what's happening. But now maybe that level's peeled back a bit. But then there's like these other levels of like really abstract thought and sort of who's real, who's not real, which characters are actually in the film and which characters are more like figurative. Like all these things are crashing down to you in this final scene when she's being chased by what she perceives to be her doppelganger, or what she perceives to be a past life, or maybe what she aspired to be.
Yeah.
But it ends
her
up
perfect version of herself.
Exactly. And she thinks that maybe she made, wrong choices, but we also learn that these ideas have been planted into her by those around her. Again, going back to being controlled, like as much as she is her own person, people around her are really swaying her into different directions.
But that's what I love about the ending of this film, and I know there's a ton of different ways to interpret it, is at the end of this film is a person having closure that they fully have control of their life again.
Right,
they exercised that demon, which turned out to be an amalgamation of a person that was the ultimate stalker, ultimate change in the reality.
I feel like she still has control. Like she has ultimate control over herself, but at the same time, she's been influenced by so many people at some point that she's still changed from where she was.
She's
at the
not
beginning.
her anymore, but she's an in control version of what she is now because she's been changed so much.
Well, and she is like, I mean, it's more like the Japanese dream, but she's like the American dream, right? She's a girl from a small town.
She's Dusty Rhodes?
She's
Dusty Rhodes.
She moves to the big city. She becomes a big pop star. It's like, it's your typical like rise to stardom story.
And then you find the bads.
And then you find what happens. And then we find out that her manager, Rumi, I believe, or Rumi.
Yeah, that was Rumi.
Yeah.
Or her assistant, one of her like on her management team, is the person planning these ideas to her stalker, sending him emails about her life so he can understand more about her. He feels like he knows who she is, but it's a very, very fabricated idea of who she is. But she doesn't know that, like Mina or Nina, however you want to say it, basically, doesn't know that. And when that reveal first happened to me, the first time I saw it, I was like, holy shit. Because about the first maybe 15 minutes before that reveal, I was pretty fucking confused, to be honest.
Exactly.
I was like, what is really happening? Like, is this just really like psychological shit that I'm never going to understand? Maybe I should just deal with that. Yeah. Sometimes there's movies like that where I'm not going to get it. I need to just fucking deal with that. That's fine. But then when that reveal happened, I'm like, fuck, that's what made this movie. That's what makes this a good movie. Because not only is shit a little bit abstract, a little bit out there, but I get a fucking bookend to this movie that makes some sense.
Exactly.
Okay.
And
exactly. But
then
there's still plenty to dig at. Like there's plenty there to dissect.
But that's what makes this, to me, also a perfect film. Where as much as we could talk about symbolism and how we interpret this film for hours and hours,
which we actually have,
the fact that this movie does kind of have at least a bit of an ending that wraps up, it makes it.
It makes it worth the experience.
Exactly. If it's too ambiguous, then you run the risk of actually being too pompous and up your own ass.
Exactly. And the movie's also goofy at times that it's never like, and that's why I think it kind of thrives as an anime, because if it wasn't an anime, maybe it would be pretentious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
I think it would date itself in a different way.
Yeah.
Totally.
100%. All right, boys, let's wrap this up.
Okay.
This has been awesome. Kyle, thank you so much for coming on again.
I had such a fucking blast.
This was super fun. You're welcome back anytime. And you'll come back earlier than you did this time.
I might just hide in your closet.
And I got to ask him a question before we leave. So if you got anything else to...
I just got to pee, so...
Okay. Kyle, before we take off, it is customary that I ask... What song would you like to be played out to you? I only get 5 to 12 seconds.
I'll give you. Do you want to give?
It can be any.
Take some time. I'll close off. You can think of a song.
I want to think for a second.
Just to remind everyone that the next time you hear our voices, you're going to be hearing us after we have seen Jordan Peele's Us.
Yeah.
So we'll be back next week with Diego. Regular table, regular conversation about an extraordinary movie. Hopefully,
I've heard a friend of mine went to South by Southwest. She said it was amazing.
Really?
She loved it.
Yeah, I haven't heard a bad thing about it yet.
I'm sure it's gonna be great.
Okay.
All right.
Anything you want to plug yourself? Instagram, Facebook, yada, music.
I guess you could follow me at KYLE ZURE if you want. I'm on Instagram and I'm on Twitter now. Follow me on Twitter.
Yeah. Talk about film. Where can we follow your film stuff?
If you have to pee, go pee. I'll talk.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll wrap this up.
Yeah.
Okay. No, keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever. Instagram, Twitter for that shit.
Just KYLE ZURE.
KYLE ZURE. You can also check out Dynamic Video Imaging on Instagram and Facebook. We got stuff posting there. Shortly, we'll be posting a lot more once we're in production for this new film.
Sure.
We're shooting in May.
And YouTube.
YouTube, Four in a Blanket.
Yeah,
check that out. That's out now. You can peep game.
Keep a lookout for Buzi and I's spinoff where we're going to be a buddy cop movie.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
And okay, what do you want to close out to? This is your triumphant exit.
It can be literally anything.
It can be literally anything. We've had Disney music.
I want Beamer Boy by Lil Peep.
Okay. All right.
Okay. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, guys. I love this. You guys are the best. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.